Welcome, sinners, to the Cinamen podcast. I'm Chris.
And as always, I am Nick.
And I'm Tyler.
And I'm Derek.
This week, we have, I think this is probably one of my favorite episodes, actually, if I'm going to be honest with you guys here. We got classic slasher remakes, which is, we got the Halloween remake, we got the remake of Friday the 13th, and we got the remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street. And yes, sinners, we are very aware that there are other classic slashers, but we don't care because we're focusing on these three, because I feel like these three are like the... You know,
well, there was the more recent Texas Chainsaw, which we could have watched. I actually did watch it.
I guess that's true.
I have seen it. It's pretty decent.
It's decent. There was a couple parts in it that were really cheesy, like spoilers, heavy spoilers.
Wait, is this the one with Jessica Biel and Mike Vogel? Is that the one you're
I believe so.
Okay, yeah, I like that one. That's good.
It's good, but like at the very end, when she like starts siding with Leatherface and she like throws him the chainsaw and she's like, "Do your thing, cuz." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I can't."
You got the new one.
I can't even.
You're like, oh my.
The Texas Chainsaw 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that one. And that one
Is that different than what they were talking about?
That's like the third reboot.
Which I thought it was okay. It was pretty good. And
yeah,
then
because the Jessica Biel one's like 2005 or something.
2003, yeah.
which that one's good.
I like that one. Yeah,
that one's
sorry.
really good.
That's the same director as the Friday the 13th remake,
yeah.
Marcus Nispel. But we got these three. We're continuing on our 4 weeks of horror podcast. We are on week 3. And this was a fun one for me, guys. I really like this one.
I had a lot of fun. I just finished Halloween today.
I haven't watched these movies, and I've been wanting to, but I knew this was coming up. I had to save it. I'm glad I finally got to knock it out.
Yeah, I've been wanting to watch these for a while now. I was actually watching these, and there was a lot of scenes where I was like, okay, I don't remember what happens here. So, some of it honestly kind of gave me like a new, genuine feel, like, oh man, shit.
Maybe that's good. You still got to do some guesswork,
Yeah,
still got to be some
I wasn't
surprises.
anticipating every scare or, whatever.
I think this is going to be a fun one because I think our opinions are going to be very different on favorites.
They are. I can tell.
I can tell, too.
I'm just looking at this room. Halloween, that's it, hands down.
That one's your favorite?
So Nick votes Halloween.
And we're talking about, are you talking overall character or just out of these 3 movies? Because I feel like...
It is my favorite of the 3.
All right,
of the 3 remakes.
So Halloween,
and
Tyler,
Michael Myers is better.
Cinnamon Tyler, I'll go with, what do you think is your favorite here?
Clearly the best one, A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Ooh.
And I know a lot of people hated it for a couple reasons, and we'll get into that, but I disagree.
Derek, what's...
My favorite, actually, and don't shoot me, but I actually think Halloween out of the 3 is my favorite, but I am a diehard Jason fan. Like, Friday the 13th is right up there.
Ooh, okay. I'm actually a big Halloween fan as well, but I do really like them all. A Nightmare on Elm Street to me is always... Freddy's always kind of been like my man. That is just...
Your go-to guy?
Like, if you had to champion one of these 3 slashers... You would champion Freddy Krueger?
Like, if 3 of them were in a boxing ring about to fight to the, inevitable death, I'd be the hype man in the corner, spitting water in his mouth, and like...
Wiping the sweat off his brow.
Yeah, and I'm like, come on, Freddy, you gotta get in there, man. Go, you're small, get
Freddy
in there.
has somewhat of an advantage, though.
I think I am gonna go... I think I'm gonna...
Depends.
Tyler, don't do this to me, man.
Depends.
Don't do this
Well,
to me.
he does. He's
Yeah,
got
okay,
the whole
fine.
like
I don't wanna
dream
admit it.
is that I'm assuming right?
Yeah.
The dream thing.
It's true, and I think we've all seen Freddy vs. Jason.
now.
Oh, and his Rorschach voice is it's not quite Rorschach, it's not like as deep.
There's like parts of the film that you could tell it's like very Rorschach, but other parts are like, oh, dude, that sounds so
Like I'm gonna make
sinister.
I'm gonna make an edit of this movie and just use Rorschach lines over it. When he like kills the dog or something, and he'll be like, whores and politicians, something like that. But I think I'm gonna go with Freddy as my favorite.
Your favorite movie?
Favorite character.
Okay.
I think out of these 3 movies, I'm gonna go with Halloween.
He is definitely the more creative.
I think so
I
because
definitely thought Derek was going Friday.
I thought we were going Friday as well.
I thought this was going to be a battle for the top, but we all sort of ganged up on Tyler here.
Well, that's okay because I know I'm right.
It's okay. I am with you though on
Favorite movie?
No, I mean.
So what's your favorite movie?
Halloween. That's what I said.
Oh, okay.
Freddy's my favorite character, but out of these 3 specific movies, I'm going to go with Halloween as my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think let's start with Halloween. We'll go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down with
Okay. Let's do it.
No, I see his face. We better start with Nightmare.
No. Let's start with Halloween because it is at the bottom of my list this week.
Oh,
Oh god.
Okay,
really?
well-
Ooh, that's a shot.
damn, man, I was hoping you.
All right, we get to
have
pick
high
on Tyler
spirits.
early.
That's
here,
okay.
guys.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I don't care because I did like all 3 of these movies. So I'm not
I
like
did too.
it's when I say it's the bottom of the list, it's a very
The bottom's not that far down.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah. Okay. I get what you're saying. And so the Halloween remake came out, 2006? Directed,
2007.
written in... Was it 2007?
2007,
Okay. I actually think me and Nick went and saw this... Maybe it wasn't a birthday one. Did we all go see this together? Me, Nick, and Dave?
I didn't. I was actually in Florida when I saw it.
Oh, that's right.
I'm
Okay.
assuming we saw it.
Right. I actually remember when
2007. What did you guys
this
say?
was announced. Derek, I think you actually told me that, Rob Zombie's going to remake Halloween. And his movies before this were very...
Awful.
Okay, I wasn't going to say awful. I was going to
They
say he's
definitely
got
are
his
different.
style.
I'll give him that.
And so I was kind of like, oh my God, I would hate to see Rob Zombie butcher the fuck out of this.
I didn't like. Well, I didn't get very far into it. I can't give it a full shake. I didn't like El Super Beasto.
I never saw El Super Beasto.
I've seen it. It's definitely weird.
It's weird, and I like weird. I mean, obviously, you guys hate on my weird preferences all the time, but for some reason, I just couldn't get into it. I love House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's
man, you
Rejects.
did not
Devil's
just
Rejects
slide
has one of
that
the best endings, I think, in film history.
And I will second that because
I
love Devil's
love
Rejects.
the ending of Devil's
Yeah,
Rejects.
Devil's Rejects to me is like
When I start
his
hearing
best film.
Freebird playing, it just like it's just so perfect.
It
He
is-
uses
yeah,
a lot
it
of
is.
classic rock in his movies, which is also like, I get to enjoy the sound. Like this one had Don't Fear the Reaper. It had
Which is amazing.
that song it opens up with.
God of Thunder, Kiss.
Oh yeah, I was like, okay, Rob Zombie, being a legendary musician, he's got good taste. That's awesome.
And I can see why you may not like his movies, Nick. Like he's got a very like
His style's very...
He's got a very like,
some of his stuff is very off-putting. Like
it's a surreal vision.
my
of-
stepdaughter's got a nice dumper on her, and you're like, dude,
Yeah.
Right?
And like the way he's like, bitch, I'll go over there and I'll put them floppy
I'll
titties
skull-
all over my. And you're
I'll
just
take
like,
your floppy
oh,
titties
man,
and
like,
skull fuck you to death. And you're like, wow, okay, just put it out there. Tell us how you really feel.
For some reason, if we're
right.
talking Halloween, because the original didn't give Michael a backstory.
No,
It's kid, clown costume, butchers his family members in the house. Boom,
And
silent.
there's his sister. His sister's
yeah.
the only one. The parents even come home and address him, and he
yeah.
just stands there like a nerd.
He sees
Yeah,
him with the
he's-
knife, and they're like, Michael! And then it like pans out with cops everywhere in the yard. And in this one, he's like, got my sister.
We get a
got
little bit of
boyfriend,
his home.
like-
We get a lot of bit of his home life. It is not very good.
No, it is.
It
And
is-
that's
It's pretty
we
much
saw-
like stereotypical trash.
And think, guys,
Yeah.
we saw 2
Very white
days of
trash.
his home life. We saw 2 days. Michael's assumingly been through that, up in all his
Some,
whole life.
I don't know, 13
Yeah.
years probably, 12 years, like 10, whatever it was
Yeah.
supposed to be.
Well, I got the impression that is the stepfather.
Well, it is, yeah.
I think
So you
I
don't
think
know
it's
that he's
the
got that
mother's
his
boyfriend.
mom's
whole life.
boyfriend.
Yeah.
Mom's boyfriend.
Yeah.
And it's like it's one of those, you watching it and you're kind of taking an outside look at the family and you're just like, God damn, man, like that's a rough life, man. I can't say it would drive me to kill someone, but I could see why he has issues.
And if you actually sit there and look at his family, everybody that he kills is everybody that has ever really has messed with him. Like the
Well, except Lori, who
Well,
tried to kill.
And Danny
well,
Trejo.
yeah, that was
Let me-
weird. But
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, Danny Trejo, that made me
essentially,
mad,
like
We'll
his
get there,
mom and
yeah.
his like baby sister are like untouched because he loves them. But everybody else, he's just like, no, knife to the face.
Hang on. Okay, this was one of the questions I had, and I'm only talking about it because we're in the beginning of the movie. So, the Jen A tells the boyfriend that her dad is in heaven. This guy is her stepdad. They have a baby in the house. What happened to the dad? Who is the dad? Is it this guy? Is it the dad that's in heaven who just died within the last 3 weeks?
I
or-
got the feeling it might have been the boyfriend, which maybe is why he's still there, because he's drunk, he doesn't have a job, he's got a broken arm and leg.
From a motorcycle accident.
Did it say motorcycle?
Yeah,
Okay, because I was uncertain. I think he had the leg broken.
Well, the baby
before
could have been the
movie
boyfriend.
started.
Yeah, he had the leg broken before the movie.
so they
He
had
just
to
didn't
rework
seem
that
to. I mean, he
script.
never
Yeah.
addresses it by name. The only line he gives it is, "All that thing does is crying shit." And it's
Crying
like,
shit.
if
She's
it is
like,
your kid,
"So do
you're
you."
treating it like crap. If it's her kid, she looks great for having just pumped that sucker out. She's back to all 90 pounds.
First off, Sherry Moon Zombie does look good. And I
Yeah,
know kind of
definitely.
people give a lot of flack because she's kind of always the star of zombies films. I like her. I think she's...
You know what? If Burton can throw what's her name in every
think-
single thing
She
he
did
makes,
all right in this, but she doesn't need to
and
be
I
in
think
everything.
she's
Yeah.
better than Burton's wife, except for obviously the obvious exception, Fight Club. Marla Singer.
I think Burton's wife's or ex-wife or ex-girlfriend, whatever they are now.
They're not together anymore.
They had like a split, but they live in the same damn home.
Are they still making movies together?
I think she's
maybe
a better actor than Sherry Moon Zombie, but I've got no problem with Sherry Moon Zombie being in zombie films. I mean,
Well, I was gonna say Sherry Moon Zombie does horror better than probably Carter could.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. She's got that look though.
Oh well.
Marla
She's
Singer
got
is
that-
like
she's got
very
that-
like.
She's got that demented.
She was
look.
Bellatrix Lestrange. I mean, let's.
Maybe that's why I don't like
Yeah, but she was Michael Myers' mother. I mean, you can't get
Burton's
more
wife.
than that.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
like
'cause
iconic.
Yeah.
feels out of place in some of the stuff that she's in.
Yeah, but Helen Bonham Carter married like the now emo king, and Sherry Moon Zombie is married to Dragula. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that is true.
So, if I have one problem with Halloween, it's that. Well, okay, I have two problems, but the first problem, the main problem I had, is that he has no humility at all. Like, this guy that's been taking care of him for 15 years, Danny Trejo, sees him out in the hall and is just very calm about, I'm going to put you back in your room,
Yeah, he's a little-
with all your masks.
He's scared, but he has the right to be scared. But he's all, like you said, he's very calm.
But he's like, this is his friend. He's taken care of him for 15 years. And I would have liked to see him have some kind of like, I don't feel bad for Michael Myers at the end of the movie. Like at the beginning, you're like, oh, he's got a rough home life. You can kind of see why he's doing this. But at the end, you're just like, you're just a dick.
the
You
way
know? You just
the way
became
I
a dick.
took it-
You kill these people that are good to you. And my second problem is that there's not a lot of tension in the movie. It's like, oh, there's some people having sex. Now they're dead. It's not like, oh, we're running and hiding and we're trying to escape, and then, oh, he finally caught us. There is a little bit of that in the very end, but, like, that's, like, maybe the last 20 minutes of a 2-hour movie.
yeah, there's not even like a big chase. He always catches his victims really
Yeah,
fast.
it's always just
I'll
like,
give you that.
there's some people, there's Michael Myers, there's some dead people.
Talking about your second problem first. Actually watching the movie, that's because to me the movie's almost broken into thirds. Yeah, Michael Myers' shitty home life slashes, kind of like his time in the or his shitty home life. Then it's like his time in the hospital and slash mom killing herself. The 15 years later bit, and then the breakout. And actually, what you were saying with the Laurie Strode chase, and kind of killing her friends. I also didn't like that it was resorted to the last 20 minutes of the film.
It was paced weird.
Yeah. Whereas Halloween,
Yeah, I agree with
the
that.
original Halloween, it's kind of like that's the central focus. And obviously, if you don't have the origin story, you get more time to do that. But I feel like maybe you could have shaved some time off
Shave some time off the origin story.
Oh, absolutely.
Or make the whole movie the origin story.
or shave some time off his part in the asylum. Give maybe like a third, of the film, the horror, or the origin, and then the
I
last
think Act 1
is
should have been from him being a kid all the way to him breaking out, and then Act 2 should have been
right, and it should have been
Yeah.
shorter.
yeah.
Okay,
I agree.
I was gonna say real quick. Did you watch the unrated one, right? The
Yes.
unrated director's cut.
Yes.
Okay,
Everybody did.
that's what I watched as well. The
Okay.
unrated director's
I
cut.
was gonna say because the theatrical cut is a little different.
Yeah, they do have some scene changes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Just minor, but
Real quick on you said the having no
Humanity.
humanity part. I agree with you there because I was like, man, I hate to see Danny Trejo get killed, especially since he helped kind of take care of Michael.
Because he didn't have to go back in his room or whatever. He could have, like, pushed him aside or something, but to, like, have no
It almost-
feelings for this guy at all.
It almost took
It's
it-
too cold-blooded, and you kind of, there's no way to connect to.
The way I took it
Michael.
was if the only person he's not going to try and kill is his mom, it's a journey about kind of the boy and his mom. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Every boy loves his mom, but
yeah,
Wait,
his
whoa.
little sister didn't do anything to him. Why is he trying to kill her? That's kind of his own thing, and I actually have a question about that coming
did
up in
he
a minute.
kill her? I can't remember. Like, I watched it, and then I went immediately to sleep. I
No,
had to
he
take a
did.
nap.
He does not kill
Okay.
Laurie Strode.
Oh, that's right. She
'Cause there's a sequel.
kills him,
Yeah.
but not really.
Yeah, and there's
of course.
two different endings as well.
A traditional
right?
Halloween.
The theatrical
No.
one's a little different. Oh, just with Loomis dying. and
well,
living.
I was gonna say
Loomis.
no. I was gonna say it's
Loomis shouldn't have died either. He told he told Michael, "You're pretty much my best friend." And when you say that to the killer, I don't think you're allowed to be killed.
And
he
it ain't
doesn't
like
die.
Michael's heard that
What?
before and like been fooled. The little Spy Kids kid wasn't like, "You're my best friend, Michael," and then I'm gonna, fucking dumbass dork, pick on you, then get killed. So, Michael, it's almost one of those, like if the only person in the world to tell you you're the closest thing to my best friend, I'd be like, it's kind of touching, man. Like,
What were you saying,
might,
Derek?
I was gonna say he actually does live.
He does live.
Because in the sequel,
Yeah,
what
Loomis
did he-
was
in the
horrible.
Well, what did he do to him in this one? I can't remember.
In the director's,
And even in the director's cut, it's
Crush his
fine.
skull.
He supposedly crushed his skull.
Oh, yeah, like-
in
yeah.
the theatrical cut, he just like crushes it supposedly.
You don't do that
Sleeves
to your
him
best
there.
friend?
Well, after that,
well, he tries to grab
he
his
tries
foot
to grab.
as
He
Michael
tries to
walks
stop
over
him.
him.
He tries to stop him as he's chasing after Lori, and he obviously can't stop Michael Myers. He's just a evil on two legs walking around, so he can't do it.
Props to Loomis for
And
trying.
then he just
though.
shows up later on. Yeah.
Like, Loomis is like,
He-
I know what I'm up against. This
he
dude's
did,
$6'9". Right?
Dude,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
like
yeah,
he's
yeah.
like
Like,
1
he's-
inch away from like I
Yeah,
think like
he's just under 7 foot.
just under 7 foot.
And Loomis is just like, I'm gonna go in there, and obviously I kind of feel like it's my job, my
the
responsibility.
absence of color is
And-
actually white.
Did you?
No, black.
All of the colors. And whatever
Yeah,
the fuck it
backwards.
is. It's his accent. That's the point.
Do you like Malcolm McDowell as Loomis?
I
liked
do.
it. I liked him a lot.
Yeah, of course.
I
he's
really
a
And
man.
I almost think the accent almost helps it. Like saying stuff like that, you're like, that's totally a doctor thing. Like.
I've been looking after you for 15 years, Michael.
Why do you talk funny?
Well, what's so weird is how he
Yeah, he
because
does.
like
Even the kid thinks it's cool.
his Loomis compared to
sort of.
Donald
Pleasant's Loomis
Like
is
chain
completely
smoking-
different.
Chain smoking Donald Pleasant.
He's like Michael.
He's like Michael. And you're like, Jesus, man. Like,
Yeah, I don't know that you can beat Donald Pleasance, but Malcolm McDowell did a fine job. I have no
Yeah.
complaints
I agree.
about that.
I agree.
Back to your evil thing. Look, it's even right there on the cover of the thing. Evil has a destiny. The whole movie, Sam Loomis is trying.
Yeah.
He's just saying pure evil. It is pure evil. So him gutting everybody, even those that he's close to, except Mom, who did that job for herself, doesn't bother me. It is just I don't agree. Like it is tough to watch Danny Trejo die, but I think that's just Michael Myers.
And
He's like the loving baby he cared about as a kid, and now he's like, I don't remember that shit. Chasing her the whole
Oh, he
movie.
does remember though. He's got the picture.
Well, he doesn't remember loving her. Apparently, he
He's
180'd
got the
over
picture,
50.
and he like showed her like
He remembers a baby.
he remembers
He
her.
was all like
She doesn't know
smooshy.
what
Hey
he
boo,
is.
kiss, kiss, puck, puck on the lips, cheek, and and then apparently that goes out the window. So he has no humility because that is just Michael Myers. To me, that's just who he is,
And
and
see-
that is him.
And to me, he had what I like to call killing mode. Like when you see him, when you first see him in the hospital, he's just like a normal kid, and then basically even in the movie, Dr. Loomis says like he's like slowly starting to descend to become like nothing. And I always figured
He
that
makes
was like,
that determination after like one day with them. Too.
Yeah,
Loomis,
right.
it's doing one of those kind of like you hear Loomis's voice over like kind of seeing Michael throughout the hospital a bit, and he's talking like to the untrained eye, he looks like an innocent kid maybe with a shitty home life, and he killed him to lash out. And he goes on talking like, but when you're around him and you have experienced what he's going through, you can tell that there's darkness behind those eyes. There's
Yeah.
pure
Well,
black, pure evil.
well, when you kill small animals and stuff like that as a kid, that's like the early warning signs of serial killer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So obviously it was probably brought on by the home life, but like once you're that far gone, you're pretty much
yeah, he was
Yeah,
definitely a
Loomis
product
was
of
pretty
his
optimistic to
environment.
begin with, anyways.
yeah. And then he's like, if you keep not talking, they're gonna take me off the case. He was on that case for 15 years and he didn't say a word.
He's a trooper.
Yeah,
We're going there.
for
He said
real.
he goes every single day for a few hours, probably. I don't think he's just like, hey, Mike, I only got 15 minutes today, man. Let's see what we can get done. He dedicated time. He said it's a lifetime. Put a lifetime into that. 15 years, and he's like, I've got to move on, Michael.
I love when
Yeah.
the dude was talking shit about the book and he was like, I've read it, it's a masterpiece. Anyway, let's go on.
Wasn't that Sid Haig that
Yeah.
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 guy who kind of sucks, but everyone's a big fan of for some reason?
He's a Rob Zombie alum.
Yeah, I saw that he was part of his little squad, so to speak.
Before I ask the question, I feel like that kind of, I guess, jumpstarts the whole third act of the movie here. Sheriff Brackett was
Brad
the voice
Dourif.
of Chucky.
Yeah.
Is
Really?
the voice
Yeah.
of Chucky. Yeah.
Grima Wormtongue for Lord of the Rings fans.
That's right.
And that's another
Another slasher, dude.
Yeah, and it's even one that has had a recent incarnation that was, I think, very good. I love Curse of Chucky.
I've actually not seen the curse. After Seed of Chucky, I was like, done.
Oh, that was a tough
done.
one to sit
oh,
through,
Jesus,
man.
I'm
Well,
done.
when
So
you
done.
look at Child's Play movies, there's ones that are. I mean, they all have like
like a
Stages.
goofiness,
they all have a goofiness to them, but then there's one that obviously stands out as the goofiest and the most meta and the most out of place, and that's Seed of Chucky. Like Bride of Chucky was already pushing it for me a little bit,
But it
And
was
then-
also a lot darker though
And
too.
then the third one, whichever one where he's in the
The boot camp.
Boot camp I
Road
didn't really like.
I don't like
Yeah,
it
that's
either.
the third one.
Okay, so my
But
question is
1, 2, Bride, and Curse I really like.
Yeah, those are probably the best ones.
Yeah.
My question is, how does Michael know that Laurie Strode is his sister?
I wondered the same thing because not once
Because when you're family, you know.
Yeah,
I
he
do-
feels a spider
I,
sense.
I took to Google for this one. You know, I ended up Googling, and I looked at one answer, and I was like, okay, that's the dumbest response I've ever heard, so I'm going to stop this right now. And they were like, well, Michael's standing in his old house, that he drove like 100 miles to get through. And how does he know how to drive, first off?
Yeah,
a semi, first off.
yeah,
I don't
a
think
rig.
I don't think he'd take.
He steals Joe Grizzly, bitch. He steals his...
That was odd. I did like that part.
Yeah. He steals his semi, and you're just like, oh.
It finally explains the jumpsuit. Like,
I like that a lot.
oh, so it's a working man suit. Like, cool. And the other ones, he just has it, and you don't know if, like,
And the
what
first
do you
one
do?
he
What
gets
is your
it
profession?
from? Well, he
You don't get to, like, the full immersion experience
no.
of it, though.
He literally, I think, like Loomis catches up, and you get a glimpse of, like, that's the aftermath. Like he catches up to the guy who
They
was working on
find
car.
his body or
Yeah,
something.
they find his body. He's
Yeah.
like lying in a field or some junk. But even still, it
but,
was cool
like,
to definitely see him don the
answer smart Google gave me here, someone's response was, Michael has made it back to his house. He just found the mask buried in, like, the floorboard, which I'm still unsure how that got there.
That was another question I had, yeah. And the
Same knife.
And the knife, too. I was like, so you... What?
There's other
Not
knives.
only are you gutting these people, you're giving them hepatitis. Or tetanus. Sorry, I guess that's coming from
Hepatitis.
us. Yeah.
and,
You're
like,
giving
how
them
did he get
tetanus,
it under
like-
the floor without breaking it? Like, why
Yeah.
couldn't he have lifted it up?
He's like,
He,
I'll
like,
use the knife to cram it between floorboards, and then
And why
somehow
doesn't
get the
anybody
knife
live
under
there 15 years later?
Or why hasn't it been demolished?
Like
Like,
if
the
it's-
city would
there's a lot of
have taken
questions.
that back, yeah.
Especially if a bunch of murders happen there, I think the city would have been like, let's get this down and out. Especially in a nice, it's a semi-nice looking neighborhood.
Yeah,
I
really.
mean, like a Shantyville or something. So Google, my answer here. He's standing there in the house, and Laurie's dropping the paperwork off for her dad. And someone was like, oh, he, like, something about the smell of, like, the
She's
daughter.
dropping
And I'm
paperwork
like,
off for her dad? Was it? Like, I didn't get that part at all.
Yeah, she
Well,
She
I
does in
think-
the original, too, but I don't remember what
I
for.
thought it was going to get ready to. because they're talking. The house is getting ready to
The
get
house is-
demolished.
yeah, I guess the house is
because
getting
remember
ready to
they're
get-
like, where are we going to fucking party once this house is gone? And the dude who gets like
Well,
the knife.
but what are the
through-
papers for?
well, he said that.
He said something about showing the house.
Yeah,
people
the
are coming
house.
to look at the
Yeah,
house.
someone's
going to
come look at the house, and I don't
Oh,
know if
so
they're
they'll
destroy
see it
or
when
if
they
they're
Maybe
enter.
it's
buy it or
maybe it's
store it.
background stuff about like the Carfax of a house or something. Kind of, like find out what's
I
happening
got
at
you.
your
Okay.
house for you buy it.
That makes more sense. All right.
Yeah.
But I was, they were like, oh, the smell of her and this, and I was like,
Yeah.
dude, babies have like a baby smell, like a new baby smell. Fairly certain she doesn't go out and buy new baby smell deodorant.
Yeah,
and
you're
just
gonna like
Yeah,
have the
she's-
aroma of your environment, at home or wherever you.
So
spend
I don't know
your
how
time.
he knows it's his sister, unless he's just like,
fucking
there's that girl, I'm gonna
bloodhound.
kill her, and randomly it's his sister.
Yeah, no, that I was because even Loomis doesn't find out until Bracken tells him.
Yeah, Bracken.
Sheriff
Brackett
yeah.
tells him, and then
But
that's
that
when he's
does-
like,
yeah.
oh my God.
and that's already after Michael's figured it out. So I'm like, hold on.
That's the
Yeah,
only
okay,
thing
that was
I
a
don't
question I
get.
had, yeah.
I was hoping that this would kind of shed some light on it.
Well, I mean, he can drive. He could drive one of those trucks. Maybe he stopped at a library, checked out a library card, got on the computer,
Well, he said he did it
and
off the
did his
books.
Googles.
Yeah, he had to do
did
it on
Oh,
the books because
which
Couldn't have even done that.
leads me to another problem. You don't just like disappear a baby.
Yeah,
I
Family
day and
gets
age,
murdered.
yeah.
That baby's got fingerprints at the hospital.
that
and
baby's
like,
got a social security card.
doesn't the
a birth
newsreel
certificate.
mention that there was a baby left unharmed? So like even the media or like even people.
So it's like the baby's
interested in
okay, and then
following
I'm
the
gonna
case.
sneak off and like get rid of the
Yeah,
baby.
because the media already reported it, and then Brackett's just like, "No media, you're wrong."
I just dropped it off at the hospital in the
All right.
next town, and I was like, okay,
All right, Mr. Zombie.
yeah.
yeah, good one.
Come on, Rob.
Yeah, come on, Brackett. Brackett's daughter, Danielle Harris, reprising
Halloween
kinda Halloween
alumni.
thing. She's Halloween 4 and 5. Young Jamie. What are they?
Yeah, Lloyd.
Jamie Lloyd. That's right. Yeah, Laurie's birth daughter, but Laurie has faked her death or whatever
Jamie
was that deal back then.
Is Laurie's apparent birth daughter, but she's with her. I'm assuming like her cousins or her aunt and uncle or
Some kind of family member.
Yeah, and then like her mom like apparently faked her death.
Yeah, Laurie had like faked her death or something.
And I was like, okay, but that kind of defeats. You have a kid, like, you know.
And who'd you have a kid with?
Yeah, right.
yeah.
I just kind of took it as maybe it was like the ambulance driver guy from the second film of Halloween 2, but then
Oh,
they kind
yeah.
of mentioned he's Josh Hartnett's character in H2O. That's why the timeline's different.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's really
I
weird.
actually like Halloween 4 and 5 way better than Halloween 3. Lame.
Tell me about
4
it.
is good. 5 I didn't care for.
I don't
Yeah,
remember
you're
them.
right. And 6 is even worse. So.
It's been a while since I've watched
H2O
any.
is awesome.
H2O is one of
H2O
the best
is the
ones.
best.
But this
love
one
water.
I thought was a solid one. I
I
liked.
love water.
That's a good one. I liked that it had a Rob Zombie's touch to it. I feel like it helped make the film. Like it's got like classic
Yeah.
John Carpenter with some Rob Zombie thrown into because I heard he had kind of had like limitations.
Yeah.
And then this one did okay, and so they were like, "Oh, number 2, make it your own thing." And
He made a lot of
obviously we
money
know how
off
shitty
of-
that turned out.
I was gonna say he made a lot of money off.
I
of
have
the
not
one
seen
in
the sequel.
2007.
It is
man.
not
Don't.
worth it, man.
Bad.
Yeah, if you didn't like this one, you sure as hell ain't gonna
I
like
like
that
this one.
Yeah, I don't think you'll like the second one.
Yeah, you ain't gonna
It's
like
just like Rob Zombie was like, I'm going to take Michael in a whole new bizarre direction that makes no sense. And
Yeah.
no, I don't
Whoa,
think
wait.
anyone responded well to that.
it. Okay, 2 things. First thing, John Carpenter actually just came out with a statement not too
Ooh,
long
yeah.
ago talking about like how much he hated Rob Zombie's Halloween. Because when it first announced it, I guess like I was like, ooh, how does Carpenter feel about this?
I think
and
he
I
was
guess
all
he was
for
just
a
like,
remake.
yeah, go ahead and do it. Make it your own, man. And then I guess he eventually saw it and he was like, yeah, that's not what I meant.
He said I thought he said Michael was too big.
Yeah, he said Michael was just too much, like too big. And I was like, well, first off,
Who cares?
yeah, I'm like, the bigger the better, I guess. Like, I mean, I want a giant monster, Frankenstein-looking monster to be walking around.
I like that the fact that he's like 6'9" makes it that much.
Right.
A
He's a big dude.
my height, which Sinners is like 5'5" on a good day. On a hot day when heat expands, that's
It
5'5".
explains a lot of the supernatural elements, like holding a dude up by his throat and simultaneously like nonchalantly piercing his gut and wall and hanging him there.
Through-
You know what I mean?
I
Like
liked
the-
that shot.
So I do
the
too, and it's
through
from
the
the original.
sternum into the wall
With the
And I like
butcher
that's
knife,
like-
not even
yeah.
like a rod. And I was like, dude, that knife is just the width of his body, and the handle is still exposed.
yeah.
Like
that was
you'd have
kinda-
I feel like you have to have the handle like through the breastplate too to like make that
And
work.
for maybe like the first time ever, in all 3 of these movies, there's 2 people that get killed by 2 of those characters. So the dude
Yeah.
that gets pinned to the wall gets killed by Jason
Gets killed by Jason, yeah.
and Michael. So he's got like 2 horror icons gutting him, and
Wait.
then Aaron Wu is the Asian's name, I think.
Yeah,
he gets killed by
he's
Freddy.
And he gets
he's
killed by
in
Freddy and Jason.
Oh shit!
So there's 2 people
Wait,
in these
the
3
dude-
movies that we watched.
The dude with the glasses is the
He's the guy that-
redheads in the
yeah,
beginning.
yeah, yeah.
Oh shit! I totally
when I
didn't know
saw
that.
him, I was like, dude, that's him. So they've both been killed by 2. They're like Bill
Yeah.
Paxton
Legends.
getting killed by like Alien and Predator, you know?
Yeah, Alien, Predator,
Oh,
Terminator.
yeah, wow.
Damn, he's
That's
had a
cool,
rough
man.
life.
They
Yeah,
almost
totally
got the
didn't-
trifecta, but
Yeah,
I knew Aaron Wu, and I knew Aaron Wu was in Nightmare on Elm Street because it's Michael Bay's Platinum Dunes production. So I'm sure
Yeah.
they were like, "Hey, come do this small."
he's kind
And
of
that came out-
he's
and that
kind of
came
one of the
out
bigger
after-
names, surprisingly, in that group too.
I was gonna say
He
came
was a
out
hot.
after
He was
Friday
kind of like a
13th.
hot item back then too, because he was
Disturbia
like he was in
and-
Disturbia. He was in both these movies.
21.
Yeah, he's in 21.
Yeah, 21.
So he kind of broke on the scene as like that like funny guy, funny side character, and it just kind of carried with him because obviously he's one of the funniest ones in Friday the 13th. But yeah, Rob Zombie's Halloween. I like that he kept a lot of the classic, like we said, pinning the dude to the
Yeah,
wall.
the kills, the music.
Going up there with like the goat Paul. Paul was his name. That's the guy who gutted to the wall. Puts on the ghost sheet and goes in there. And she's like, "Oh, you see anything you like? Haha. Fine, fucking dick. Don't say anything about my boobies hanging out at
Give
you.
me a beer."
Throw me a beer." And then he's like, kills her.
That was one thing I did like. I like how like you see him
Lots
walking.
of boobies.
Yeah, always boobies, dude. That's
Oh,
the
yeah,
best thing
always
about
boobies.
a slasher.
Boobies for life.
Boobies. It is breast cancer awareness. Save the tatas. Michael was not.
But I did
he
like the
didn't get
bit
memo.
where he was walking down, and you kind of think it's Michael. Then Michael comes out of nowhere and takes him out.
Oh,
Like, right
yeah,
before
when he
kills him, I
comes
was
down the
like,
hallway
"Oh."
and Michael
Yeah.
just sweeps through and like grabs him, takes him in, and guts him.
There's if you actually watch the very beginning when like Michael's a kid and he goes around like when I think it's right after he kills the mother's boyfriend Ronnie or whatever. He like goes up and the girlfriend or Ginny's boyfriend goes downstairs. As soon as he goes downstairs,
Boyfriend Steve?
Yeah, he follows the guy down there and hits him in the head with a baseball bat down in the kitchen. If you watch when he's the adult, he does the exact same thing to the other guy that he pins to the wall. Does the exact same movement, everything. And it just kind of makes me wonder: was he intentionally doing that, or is he just like almost stuck in like repeat mode?
Yeah. And I like that although we only got to see the first movies of these, well, I guess 2 of them only had single movies.
yeah.
We didn't get to explore the almost inhuman aspect of these guys. Like, the old Jason, all the old Friday
God,
the 13th
yeah.
movies, he comes back to life by like the weirdest shit imaginable.
Yeah.
Halloween is just like
It's ridiculous.
Michael's still alive, just even though he takes bullet after knife throw after anything, really.
That was kind of the one thing, except for for Nightmare on Elm Street. Like Friday the 13th and Halloween both had more of a realistic approach, I guess.
Yeah,
and it was definitely, it still worked. It's definitely
that's what I liked
really
about
awesome,
it.
yeah.
Obviously, we get that Inhuman aspect if there were sequels, but this one they kept it grounded, realistic. They get hurt, although they don't necessarily show it, but people actually do manage to hurt them. So that's
Boy, he sure gets around fast. Like that,
He does.
like Lori leaves her porch. Dad's like standing there on a cigarette break, and out of nowhere, even though he's looking like straight forward, out of nowhere Michael comes, takes him into the house. I think kills Dad, kills Mom.
Yeah.
Like he puts in work.
He
He
comes in out
carries
of
several
nowhere.
people down streets and stuff. Like he is just a machine.
he's 6'9", 250, let's say, right?
Oh, easy.
Easy, yeah. Wearing like heavy duty construction boots. What are you just the lightest man on your feet? Like
He must have been, like,
new
working
houses
out in
have
that
floorboards
little
that
place.
creak.
Yeah,
You're walking
make a
around your
mask,
old
do some
house not
push-ups,
making a
right?
sound.
Going
Unless
out
you
in the
just
yard.
memorize all the floorboards creaking, like you are just the most silent guy ever. Like
Yes.
you're like a fart, silent but
Very
deadly.
He got
much
to be pretty stealthy in the
Michael
yeah.
Myers. He's like a
He's
fart.
like a fart.
Silent but dead. That's the cover box right there. Like a fart, silent but dead.
That could be number 2 because that movie sucks so bad.
They can,
It was
they
so
should just
shitty.
Make number 2.
It was so shitty they compared him to a
Oh,
fart.
I like the puns. But this was a good one. I don't think I have too much of a problem with it. I guess other than the fact that we're talking like everyone has to be like weird. Like the dad talking like tapping his stepdaughter and the two
The janitors or whatever,
or the
and
maintenance guys being like,
caretakers, that scene was just
that scene was
it's hard to
definitely-
watch.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
it was pretty
tough.
brutal.
it is.
I watched this with a girl a few years back, and not like I had forgotten about it.
I'm not gonna do this.
And as soon as that came up, as soon as it came up, I was like, I had to be like, warning, I totally forgot. This is gonna get weird. If you want to fast forward, we can. I get it. FYI.
Yeah,
Don't say I didn't
Don't
warn you.
censor him.
But
Don't fast forward through it.
Michael does not kill the girl patient.
No,
I did notice that. That's like the one girl, and it's almost like he forgets about her, or like.
I think he's
He's
more,
just like, well, I got to get out. You're lucky.
I think
First
he's
off,
just
when he
more-
stands up,
Yeah.
it's going down. Like you see, he's almost like pissed. Like he's just like,
Like
okay,
puts his hands down.
yeah.
And it almost
It's
seems like
all
it's like
8 feet
what
of
are you
him.
doing in my room? Don't touch my masks.
Yeah, he's just like, God
He's like,
damn
you
it."
want some of this killer? And he's just
You know how
like,
much
oh,
paper
yeah? And
mache
he goes
I've had to
work.
do these masks?
20 years.
I
man.
like that they
20
give him
years.
craft materials. Like
Yeah.
he's just over there like doop.
Well, that's probably the way to keep him calm.
You know, Rob Zombie made all those masks, or him and like his production company made all those masks from scratch.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Was
I
it the
like,
crew
dude, it's
from
pretty nice.
Halloween 2? Is that why they sucked?
No.
You want to do ratings?
Out of 10, this
8.
one.
Ooh, really? I was gonna say I'm gonna give it a 10. It to me, out of the three slashers we've seen, like it's definitely the top.
If we're going
This is
slashers,
like the biggest. This is gonna be like the biggest like range of
if we're
ratings.
going,
we've
if we're
had.
going slashers,
8.5. I'm sorry, 8.5.
If we're going slashers in general, I was going to say maybe an 8.5 or a 9. I'll probably settle with a 9. I can't find too many things wrong with this one, other than the fact that Michael apparently was born with the sixth fucking sense of knowing who his sister is after not seeing her for
Sinners,
15
help
years.
us out, man. If you know something we don't,
Yeah, if you
let
got
us
any
know.
theories, let us know, man.
So, the lack of humanity, the weird pacing, the somewhat incoherent story at times. Don't kill me, guys. I'm gonna say 6.5.
No, that's
that's
so
You know, we're
modest.
talking about this one, not number 2, right?
Yeah.
Oh man,
I was like 6.5, 7, somewhere in there.
number 2'd be like a
2.
6.75, maybe.
like a negative.
You know, I did like it though. I did enjoy it.
My-
It's still on the positive end of the
I
spectrum.
watch it every year for Halloween. It is
Oh, yeah,
one of
yeah.
those
It's like a
movies I
tradition
do,
for me.
so.
Yeah.
I really only had to dock it just the weird, like, the hospital scene was kind of weird. The questions that were left unanswered, kind of like now that we got to pool them all together,
Like
I
you-
do have to kind of agree with that. Also, an odd pacing. I definitely, like, I thought it was going to end like once or twice, kind of as we got to the end, and then it was like Lori just kept going. So I'm not going to few, but it is still my favorite, and so an 8.5.
So
We'll
if
do
you
it.
guys want to shit all over me, we can do Nightmare on Elm Street now.
Wait, what was your rating?
Hey,
Oh,
what?
yeah, my bad.
Oh, yeah,
10.
10.
So we got
10,
9,
9,
8.5.
8.5.
6.5.
Okay.
Okay, that's, They're all passing grades.
It's positive, but a high range on the positive.
Right.
I was gonna say I'm probably gonna be very positive for most of these. I'm a big like slasher fan.
Yeah,
so.
I'm trying to be positive, and maybe it's just because Halloween was so fresh in my mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we've seen it all a billion times. You haven't got a chance to see it.
And when it comes to,
Was this your first time seeing it?
I believe I've seen it one time.
Yeah,
Once
I've
or
seen
twice
it a whole
before.
bunch. So
But this was
like,
all
I was
almost
psyched.
basically all new to you. I mean, did you
I
remember,
don't.
unless you
I
remembered
didn't
all of it?
remember. Like when I was like, "Oh, he's a kid." We're starting out as a kid. Like so, it definitely. I didn't remember what I was getting into.
Right.
Uh,
Solid origin movie. You said you want to dive into Nightmare on Elm Street.
I would love to.
And you said this was your favorite.
Definitely my favorite of the three.
Okay, because I think this is actually going to be my second favorite.
I really liked it, and I heard a lot of people shit on it because of them changing Freddy. Because everyone got like so attached to the original Freddy, which is great.
the
He's
actor.
Yeah.
great.
Which
Robert
is-
Englund, folks.
But I watched some of the special features, and maybe that swayed my opinion. Because I tend to really agree with the people making the movie when I see them talk about it. Because when you see the passion and the time and like the thought that goes into a movie, it's hard to like knock the final product.
Right.
And they talked about how they really wanted to separate themselves from the original, which when you remake something, I think that should be the goal, is to make something good,
Yeah.
but something that stands alone. And a lot of people complained about like the makeup changes, and their reasoning was to make it look more like a real burn victim.
It does look like
Which
more
it-
realistic.
Yeah, it really does.
And like they talked about like the hours that went into picking the hat. Like choosing the hat alone, they said they went through like, I can't remember, I might be exaggerating, but they said like hundreds of hats to like try to find the hat and the right sweater. Like it was so important to them, and I really think the outcome was good. And I think Rorschach, I don't know his real name.
Jackie
I
Earle
apologize.
Jackie Earle.
He, I feel like, was
Oh, he did awesome.
an excellent choice.
I agree with you. Yeah, seeing Robert Englund would have been, cool. I guess he's Freddy. He is Freddy. That's just it.
Might be his only like credential too.
Yeah,
so.
you can't say the same about Michael and Jason because you've had 50 million guys play these guys. He was Freddy. So getting a
And they're
new
not
guy-
talkers either. You're not getting to know a
Yeah,
personality
they're
or
more like
lack thereof.
monsters.
and that's why Freddy's my favorite, obviously, because he gets to deliver these like funny but like terrible, terrifying lines, and you're just like, oh man, that's
The line delivery by Jackie Earle Haley was one of the standout points that I really liked. The dog where he's like, I was only petting him. I was like, oh shit. Like, it is campy enough, but he delivers it in like, you're not laughing at this. Like, this is legit.
I think my favorite line when he's killing or about to kill the boyfriend, the one that went to jail.
Yeah.
The one that
Jesse?
screams like a
Yeah,
chick.
Jesse. That's
Yeah.
Travis Van Winkle from Friday the 13th. The one in the jumpsuit,
Yeah,
Jesse.
that's right.
He looks like he's gonna attack him, and he doesn't. And he's like, he says, "Why are you screaming? I haven't even cut you yet," or something.
That
And I
was
like,
good.
Yeah.
"Oh
That gives
my
you
God."
goosebumps.
Like, and it's one of those. He's like, "Oh, Freddy's gone. Maybe, maybe I might live." Oh, right through the heart. And I was like, "Oh my God!" Like, it's just all of his line deliveries, and just that one about the wet dream.
Yeah.
Because this, like Friday the 13th, kind of has stuff from all the other sequels.
Yeah, they have like a little bit of bits and pieces of it.
A few lines, maybe like a
From
few
other
ways
films,
people
yeah,
are
put in
killed.
there.
So they borrowed a bunch of this. I thought this one was really awesome. Jackie Earle Haley being like our height, like we said, like 5'5", was still scary as fuck.
He was like repping for the short guys. I was like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like, you can be a horror icon.
I think a reason I like this a lot is because it is supernatural and obviously so. It's not like, well, somehow Jason's still alive. It's like Freddy is clearly a supernatural being.
Yeah.
And I think it's very creative. I think like killing people in their dreams is not only creative but horrifying. Because you can run from Jason, you can run from Michael, you have a chance. You can't not sleep. Your body will literally not let you not sleep.
And they talk about that in this movie.
I
It
like
gets
the introduction.
realistic
It's
about
very
it.
prominent in this movie.
I love the
liked
introduction
it.
of the micro naps. I thought that was a good.
The fact that they're using adrenaline, at the very end. Obviously, I know, but the guys popping Adderall to stay awake.
And which I kind of thought the girl picked a weird time to like take a stance against drugs. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, take an Adderall, lady. You need to be
I
awake
know
right
it's
now.
like, okay, so risk falling asleep, which you're obviously starting a micro nap, or just pop.
Yeah,
It
she
ain't like you're
chose
gonna
burning
get
herself
addicted,
with the
you know?
lighter that didn't end up working over taking the pill.
It ain't like the main kid Kyle Gallner like sitting there like putting a tourniquet on, like, hey, I'm about to shoot some meth to stay up. You want
Yeah.
some of this? And she's like, oh, I don't do drugs. It's just Adderall.
Well, Adderall is
I know it's
mild
a
meth.
low dose of methamphetamines. I get that, but it's not like he's like, take half the bottle. That way you're just awake for days, and we don't got to worry about that in a week when we fall asleep.
Don't
like,
OD,
Yeah,
but get
right.
as close as you can with being conscious.
Well, I think that's the way to go. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I actually thought the micro naps got annoying. Like 1, 2, 3, and then it was like and 4 and 5 and 6, and also we're gonna throw another one here. There's 2 more at this scene. Let's not forget this, and that got too much for me.
I don't
See,
like. Sorry, go on. No,
I was just gonna say, like, that was one thing I did notice about this one compared to the other ones. The like scare factor in this was like amped up. Like there was always jump scares after jump scares.
people
You know?
people give jump scares a lot of shit. I think it's an
I'm not
adequate
saying
way to
I'm
scare
not saying
people.
it's not effective.
Yeah.
I'm just saying don't use it too much.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And I'm also in the school of thought where like people that shit on horror movies like they're just not scary. Yeah, you're an adult.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
it's fake.
Yeah, you're an adult. Of course, it's not
Oh,
scary.
because you grew up. Okay.
Yeah, so
That's clearly
so
their fault. You know.
Take that out of your mind. Was it a good movie?
You know, maybe you're obviously adults. Maybe you don't get scared, but you have to sit there and think if you're in that situation, you're not going to be saying you're not scared there.
That's where
you try to
that's
put
where
yourself.
it comes from. You think like, how
Yeah.
long can I go without sleeping? And
Oh yeah.
What would I have done here? I was freaking out thinking about it. You know. I was
like,
well,
half the time I'm
I'm
just
in
like,
trouble.
I would just go to sleep and let them get me.
See, and that was
Just
one
rip
thing.
the Band-Aid off. Just get it over with.
In the original series, they actually came up with a pill called Hypnosil, and they talk about it. I think in
yeah.
Freddy vs. Jason.
Freddy vs.
Oh
Jason.
wait,
And basi-
so that dives back before Freddy vs. Jason?
Yeah, it goes all the way back.
I didn't
to,
know that.
Even the like Weston Hills, which is where they're at, that goes all the way back to number 3.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
All right.
like
the Dream
there's-
Warriors.
Yeah, there's a lot of connections.
Oh yeah. Dream Warriors.
Actually,
was
that
a-
one was a decent one.
That was
Yeah,
way
that
better
wasn't
than
bad.
number 2. Number 2 is so bad.
It's like the
Well,
laughing
yeah,
stock
it's-
of that whole franchise.
What makes it even stranger is like the kid is like trying to figure out his sexuality, and I was like, why does that even matter? Get that
Yeah.
shit out of here.
That's an important issue right now.
Right
now, not back in
then.
1982.
Gender confused lives matter too, dude. Come on.
What I
85.
didn't like about this film is that the Elm Street factor didn't really. This could have been any street.
Yeah,
It could have been Liberty Street. It could have been South Street. It could have been any street. And all it did, it showed Elm Street like the sign like twice, but it doesn't say like the
Yeah.
kids of Elm Street, the parents of Elm. Like the original was like the parents of Elm Street.
He's tied to this preschool as opposed to the street.
Yeah. If the preschool was on Elm Street, that
Yeah,
would have been
and
something.
that would have explained it, but
But
they
it
don't
was
make
like-
any mention to it at all except the one
It's
street
like
sign.
2 or 3 guys that go to the school, live on Elm Street, and then preschool's the other side of town.
what do you? I was gonna say, what do
And
you
the
guys?
people he's killing aren't even in
Half of them moved out, and they're all over
Springwood
the
or wherever
country, you know?
they're supposed to be at anymore.
because like Aaron, you whatever. He just
They've moved away. She even explores like these different people
Other
and stuff,
kids.
and because she obviously doesn't know who they are
Yeah.
since they're
So
not in
it almost
school.
just should have been like a nightmare, or like
No.
Freddy
The-
nightmare.
the tie-in for them all was was a complaint, I guess. The like how they're attached to each other.
yeah, like I said, the Elm Street
Elm
factor
Street, not
didn't
Elm Street.
have
I don't
an
I don't
effect
really
on it.
remember the originals that well, so there was none of that. Like, do you find out if Freddy is innocent in the originals?
Well, the
That's
original's a
not a
little
thing.
different.
okay. I was gonna say this is what I was gonna ask you. Did you guys?
Like the new
You guys
backstory.
like did you like the new backstory? You think it was too dark, or did you think it was
Absolutely
too
made
long?
sense. I
Yeah,
had no problem.
I-
Makes sense. I liked it.
Loved it,
But what's-
except there's a but here. I don't think he should have actually been diddling these kids.
Whoa.
See,
I think it's a more interesting and more dynamic
Oh, so you're talking
story
about, like,
if he's
innocent?
innocent, and then they kill him, and then he comes back for revenge because
On
he
their-
literally
that makes
was
more
just
sense,
a
yeah.
caring kid caring adult who just loved these kids and wanted to take care of them, and then
That would have been way better if he was innocent. I
yeah,
agree.
me and Justin watched that together, and we were like, why did they make him
see,
guilty?
They throw that twist at you, and then I think everyone at the end of the movie is kind of thinking like, maybe that would have been a better route.
Yeah,
I think.
Real quick, did he actually touch the kids, or did he just
Yeah.
kind of like use the knife and stuff? He actually touched them.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
Because it kind of got
you don't-
unclear, and I was like,
he takes him to his
man, like,
weird
his dark
art
cave
dungeon
or whatever.
Yeah.
What he says.
So I think the
Well, he
implication
was
is
clearly
that
using the claws to some degree, right? Because that one girl's got it on her dress.
Yeah, I thought-
Which is like, so
And-
did he not hurt the girl, or was like, how did he cut the cloth
And I
without
think
her?
didn't one of the kids, like when they were kind of bringing it up, like kind of like a backstory, they showed like the young kids and like one of them
Yeah,
had
one of them
scratches.
like turned around. It might have been Clancy Brown's kid or something like
Quentin
that.
or
Yeah.
whatever? Yeah.
One of them had the 4 claws on his back. So I'm like, so he just takes you down there to catch you?
Yeah,
yeah,
or-
I guess it would make sense if he's what did we say, diddling.
So he's not he's not innocent, but he may or may not be sort of like a sexual predator.
In the original one, they originally talked about how he was like a child murderer and kind of like a child
And he
molester.
lived on Elm Street.
Yeah, and he lived there.
He killed the kids of Elm
that's
Street,
right,
and the
yeah.
parents revolted,
Yeah,
and
and
that's why.
basically that's what happens. Like they revolt, they kill him. He comes back. Well, your parents killed me. Now I'm going to take your kids again. Like
Yeah.
that's how it is in that one. In this one, they take a much more darker turn, which I guess is more of that realism you were throwing at us. That's fine, I guess. But it's just like it's all fine and dandy. But when you threw the twist in there, I was like, oh god, it really is true.
Few things.
But-
I wish we would have seen more of like what Dean's parents. Dean died.
Which
I
one
know
was
we-
Dean?
The first
The
kill?
first
first
Kellen
one.
Lutz, first guy, the opening kill, I guess, if we want to go. I wish, because like, none of the parents want to tell the other parents, like, I found out how your kid died. It turns out it's this dream demon my kids have been fighting.
Dream Demon.
Like,
That's a cool.
so I kind of
cool to
wish they
say.
would have explored that.
That's its official title.
Also, dude, Clancy Brown is the man.
He
I
is
was
the
expecting
man.
to go like full on Mr. Krabs, be like, like, I'll kill Freddy Krueger.
Shiver
like,
my timbers.
Yeah.
The Dream Demon of Elm Street.
Gotta get me dollar,
Yeah,
Things like that.
SpongeBob! Like going full on Mr. Krabs.
What was really weird was like
Also, Lex Luthor, Justice League fans.
one of
What
the
up?
problems I had was, I guess probably the main problem is like this is what I meant earlier when I was talking about it. Like I watched it first and I haven't seen it for a good while, and I watched it and I was kind of sitting through it and I was like, man, the more and more I watch it, the more and more I start finding things I don't like about it. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing because like I started noticing like the acting for like the kids. I was like, man, you guys are kind of struggling here in some parts, This little nitpicky stuff, but overall, like the film was really good.
For like
I
the
really-
little kids or like
Yeah,
the
wait,
adult kids?
for the teenagers, the grown up kids.
I actually thought the acting in this was better than Friday the 13th, which is why I
Really?
put this one above it. And we'll explore it once we talk about Friday the 13th.
Okay.
But also, like, the parents go chase this child molester, right? Safe to say.
Yeah.
Chase him down, kill him. No legal ramifications because you did just murder that guy. Though he did deserve to die. Nothing comes from that.
Well,
you know?
I think the police buried it.
Yeah, I think I'm guessing the
get
whole
that,
town
but
was maybe in on it.
Let's be realistic
Well, I think it was like
about it
this
here,
guy's
you
touching
know?
our kids. We're gonna kill him, and everybody's gonna shut their fucking mouths.
I get that part. Well, I'm trying to think realistically. They're not just going to be like,
What? And have our kids go up on the stand and have to tell a room full of people what happened?
Yeah, that's right. He does say something like that.
yeah. I mean, like I said, I totally understand. As a parent, I totally get it. But if I kill the guy that touches my kid, I would still go to jail. They're not just going to be like,
Well, no,
look,
not if you cover it up.
we're gonna.
They were pretty
Yeah, well,
loud about it.
Legally,
Yeah.
yeah.
They were like, "Let's
Yeah.
just burn him down." Why don't we just cut him
Yeah,
up and throw him in the
even-
river or
even-
something?
even
Why don't you
Nancy's
take
mom's
them to
like,
jail
"Hey, let's
where
take it
child
easy."
molesters get like raped or killed with the bat symbol, like in Batman vs Superman or
Just
whatever?
give him a
you know,
pair of
like,
concrete shoes and throw him in the river.
They
Yeah, there you
get
go.
their own. So the fact that you killed them, it's like you would have been in trouble too. You could have, in a real world, avoided all that if you just caught him. Maybe kick his ass, get him near death, whatever. Send him to jail where he's about to get the same fucking treatment, even worse.
Yeah, child molesters, I hear,
They have it
don't do well in jail.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you almost would.
Which is weird that there's at least even some kind of honor in
because
prison.
he wouldn't have died,
Yeah, like
and
an
your
honor
kids
among
wouldn't have been
thieves
getting
type
killed.
thing,
He
right?
wouldn't have came back for your kids. He'd have came back for all those prison dudes. That
Yeah,
killed
but
them.
who thinks that they're gonna burn someone alive and then it's gonna chase their kids in their dreams?
Well, if I ever decide
Next
to
time I
burn
burn
someone
someone
alive, I'm
alive-
going to think like, how much do I love my kids and do I want them to die? No, I don't. Okay.
I two quick things. One, why? So these kids are finding out about the past. Is Freddy showing them? And if he is showing them, why?
I kind of like that aspect.
Well, okay, so he's showing them to be like, I am guilty. Keep watching this dream, like how it unfolds. Why is he
Well-
showing them that he's guilty? Who gives a shit? Just
I
kill
think
them.
sorry.
I was gonna say like the way he made it seem because in the original films he said
If he was innocent, I'd have said, show them, right? That
That's
would
why
be cool.
that's why he should have been innocent. But
in the original film he said that the fear is what powers him.
Yeah.
And in this he kind of makes a similar, I guess, claim.
Implication?
Like he goes, your memories are what fuel me. That's what powers me is your memories.
But they're not their
all-
memories. They're
they're-
his memories.
well,
Well,
they're
they're-
repressed
They're
memories.
repressed memories, and he's
Well,
bringing.
they
them
weren't there when he
alive
was
by
burned,
attacking
though.
He's reminding them.
He's showing them what they did.
It's almost like he starts showing them memories, and then he starts showing them his. Like
I feel
clearly the one where he's
those
burned
aren't
is
their
his
memories.
memories.
Yeah, because he showed
Those are
Quentin like what
his
happened
memories.
to him.
I almost feel like he's
that's
toying with them.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of the charms of Freddy is like
I took it as
he plays with
feels-
his food. You know,
He feels like he's cocky. He feels he can't be. He's a dream dude. Who expects to be able to kill it? If I'm a dream demon, I'm not going to think you guys can hurt me.
I'm sure when
so
he was
I'm
in
sure
his-
he's just like, I'll show you what happens because you ain't gonna do nothing about it. Oh shit, you brought me to the real world.
I just cannot agree with any of those answers. There's no if fear is your weapon, what is scary about how you died? Scare them if that's what you're trying to do.
Well,
scare them and kill them.
yeah,
What is the problem?
I think he is scaring them as well as like fucking with them. But so you say that does work if he is innocent.
If he was innocent,
Yeah.
absolutely, it would have been like, hey, I'm showing you I'm innocent, and now I'm showing you why I'm pissed.
So I think we all agree that that would have been a better.
That
Yeah,
would have
that definitely would have been a
That would have
better-
made a more streamlined story
The,
because it works as a twist. But then you start thinking at the end like, okay, it would have been way better if he was innocent.
The second part of that, in that same dream, where's he running from? He is in like a way abandoned part of town. Did he outrun these cars? Is the school nearby? Is his house nearby? Where's he coming from?
Why didn't he kill the parents? Because they killed him.
Also
when-
true.
Because I think
And the parents clearly haven't forgotten.
Well, he goes out to
I think
kids
about it
because
every
kids are
day.
the ones who told
okay.
who they found out.
I get that. But
Let me say to you as a father, Chris, if you died or if your kids died, what is the better punishment? Not better punishment. What is the like?
What are you going to suffer most from?
Because if you're dead, you're just. I mean,
dead.
depending on your beliefs, you're just dead, or you're in heaven, or whatever.
Or you're
I,
in
you know, I
or
get
you're in
that.
hell.
Yeah,
You burned
sure.
a guy to death, or
That
you
might- yeah.
burned a guy to death. Let's not sugarcoat it.
yeah,
here.
like-
I totally get it, but I'm just saying if
No,
someone kills me, sure I'll kill your kid. In a serial killer sense, sinners don't
sinner.
don't be like, oh my god, Chris is gonna. Yeah, I'll kill your kid, but I'm also gonna kill you because A, you sleep, B, you dream. So I'm gonna do the same thing to you, man. Like,
Here's what I would do. I would kill your kids, and I would still fuck with you in your dreams.
I guess that's what I was going to say. Why not at least haunt those guys?
Cut them a little
Yeah.
bit.
And it's like, is the memory of you killing him all that haunts you? Because that's bullshit. So
Ooh.
I still am not happy
Since
with
he's got
that.
the memory manipulation, kill the kids and then show them clips of you killing the kids while you're maybe that
You're
was his
getting like
plan.
Inception, like
Yeah.
right now.
Christopher Nolan needs to direct the next Friday the 13th.
Oh, my
or
bad.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
That would
My
just
bad,
be-
my bad.
That would just be off the chain.
Last
That
bit
would
about
be
that
ridiculous.
dream, the shot where he's like starts to go on fire and then rips out of the coat and it's the sweater because I didn't even pay attention to it. I was like, oh, this normal dude is clearly like this is about to get bad for him. But then you see, I'd almost forgotten about the sweater, and then you see him just like almost Superman kind of out of the coat. It's like a kind of thing, and it is awesome. It was a good shot, a bit slowed down, so you really got to like see it and you felt it.
The best time to wear a striped sweater is all
A
the
Christmas
time.
sweater, yeah.
You know why Wes Craven picked those colors?
Isn't that a
red and
SpongeBob
green?
thing? No.
He actually picked them because those are the two most like toughest colors for the eye to try to adjust to.
Yeah, I think I did hear that. So it's like off-putting,
Yeah, and
they're what the opposite of complementary colors? They're
Uncomplimentary colors.
Supplementary.
maybe that might be it. That sounds wrong,
Uh,
but it also sounds.
I know it's a math thing.
technically correct.
If it's not a
I don't know.
compliment, it must be a complaint color.
Oh, they
Not an art student.
They're opposite of each other on the color wheel, whatever that means.
Not
I know the term, and
Yeah,
I'm
they're like-
drawing a blank.
I know what you're talking about.
So it's
Yeah.
like
artists, help us out.
purple and yellow, red and green, blue and orange, whatever.
Yeah, they're like opposite.
Do the like
Shut up.
juice star, put some colors on the opposite ends. Right.
One thing I feel like was very, very strong was the overall appearance, the special effects. It was a very good-looking movie. Like, think about my favorite shot is when she's running up the stairs, and then she starts running down the hall, and like suddenly the floor turns to like blood, like a pool of blood.
Talk about a wet dream.
That was so. I don't know how they shot it. Like it was really well done. And there was another scene where
Was she sitting in a classroom? Well, I like the scene where she's in the classroom and like falls asleep, and then like
everybody turns the ash around.
That
her.
was
like
awesome.
Terminator
does that-
2 and
yeah,
like Nuke.
I was like, that's cool. And like as we were talking about the acting, they all, well, especially her and Dean especially, like them showing their fear. Like Katie Cassidy, who is the hot blonde in this, she looked frightened as hell, and
Yeah,
I
she
was
looked
like,
terrified.
oh my god, like I could just imagine you like, you don't know what to expect. You know, you hear that she's getting shown like down the preschool hall by her younger self, and she's the only one that interacts with her younger self in the dreams, by the way. none of them got to interact with their younger selves. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
Which
is
one's she?
weird.
The one that like flew around the room?
Yeah, the one who had the
one-
death
yeah.
from the original, where she's.
Which I think that shot looked kind of goofy, where she's flying around the room. But only it does look realistic though. Like if you were being thrown around by a dream demon, I feel like that is what it would look like.
There's one shot where she's like going in circle, and then like her hands like tick 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 tick. tick,
Yeah,
like,
you hear all her limbs like
Filleting against the
singularly
wall.
like.
It does, and then she just has the slashes. But like, she's walking the hall, and then like she hears the counting, and like stops at the doorway, turns, and he's like right there at the chalkboard, and like, dude, I'd be like, well, just kill me now because this is fucking scary. I don't even want to move. You know, you get so scared you don't want to move, like a kid under his blankets.
Yeah.
You know, but all these guys find the balls to just run away, so go with him.
Another shot that really stood out to me was when she was in the pharmacy while he was trying to refill the prescription, and like she was backing up, like kind of doing a crab walk almost on the ground, and like it was cutting between
It's like
the pharmacy to the like
To the dream world.
the dream world,
the
like-
boiler room type.
yeah,
thing.
like just cutting back and forth,
Like
and it was like
flickering back and forth.
seamless, and it like is just it was a really good effect. I feel like the special effects were.
It
Just,
looks good because like
insane.
the aisles of
Yes.
like the shit on the shelves look like the walls of the boiler room. You know, like the floors,
it's-
the hallway.
Yeah, it's called a match cut, and it was
Yeah.
just
that was a good shot.
I like the one where I think it's the main girl, Rooney Mara, drops through the ceiling, and then the blood kind of
It, like,
upside down
pops.
like mushroom clouds.
Yeah,
and, like,
so it,
pops,
like-
and she drops because it's almost
so like,
like
the
an
gravity
opposite,
like switches.
Yeah, it's
so
like-
like the blood comes through and then sucks back up.
It's like an opposite shot of Johnny Depp's death in the original, like where he's on the bed and
Yeah.
like it's pulled in, all the blood shoots up. This was kind of like the opposite from the top to her bed.
That's
so
why
I was
they
like,
did that.
that's awesome.
That was really cool. I like that
It
It was
little
just a
homage.
good shot.
I thought I heard Rooney Mara, whatever, the main chick. I thought I heard her say she didn't like this movie or didn't
She
like
has expressed,
didn't like doing the movie,
her
and I'm
distaste
like,
for it.
dude, what? You sign on for these movies, and to go back,
I think
And it gave her a career, so it's like,
yeah,
shut your damn
like,
mouth.
This was like one of the.
in her
first.
defense, I think you
Yeah.
read a script and you kind of have an idea of
Sure,
what's going to
yeah.
happen. Then you go through the shots and you do your best,
Talk your budget.
and then editing comes into play, and like the movie could look a million times different than it felt to shoot.
And
I think it was a great.
understand that.
I think it was a great
I
project.
read the interview, and it definitely did not come off that way. It sounded very much like she was like, I did this movie, and I didn't really want to do it, but...
Yeah, she sounded like
That's why I
she genuinely
got it.
hated it.
And that just, like, pissed
Well,
me off.
that's a little sad.
I don't want to work with an actor who's, like, not passionate about doing
Yeah.
the...
Yeah,
Like,
looking
I get-
at you, knocked up co-star who I'm
Katherine
going.
Heigl.
Katherine Heigl. I hate you.
Yeah, I get you want a paycheck.
Yeah, you
so
suck,
you sign
Catherine.
on for these movies, but I would want to work with an actor that's passionate about this, that wants to see this get done, get made. Because Rooney Mara was nothing special in this movie.
No.
You
She
could have
was good.
cast any actress as the lead role in this.
She's Oscar nominated now, too.
yeah,
So I
like
expect
you went
better.
on to be the girl with the dragon tattoo. You were in that shitty Pan movie, but you know that was later on in life. You know,
She's
like,
in Side Effects. She's got a
yeah,
career.
this
I
set your
think she did.
career.
I think she did good in
So-
this movie, though.
So do I. And then for her to come back on it,
Kyle Gallner was the best, though.
yeah, the lead guy, Kyle Gallner, is the
Quentin.
man.
Quentin.
Quentin,
He's
yeah.
the man.
He's the man.
I like
He's
his
in
character.
also in
Jennifer's Body.
Jennifer's Body. He
He is
gets
in
it.
Jennifer's Body.
You talked about House of a Thousand Corpses earlier. I know we're diving back a while. Both of those movies are first and second on my worst movies I've ever seen list. Jennifer's Body, House of a Thousand Corpses.
That's okay. Sinners, if you like Jennifer's Body, let us know. And I'm not even going to like play the, if you're right and you like Jennifer, because, some people don't like Jennifer's Body. And I
was
I
tough,
dig it.
man.
I feel like a lot of people don't like it because they don't like Megan Fox. Because she's not.
She's not a
good
great
actress.
actress, but I think she does okay in this role.
If
And
you
it's
can use a hot chick to lure men, you went in a pretty good direction.
but and it's not even like supposed to be like a great horror movie. It's very like meta.
like it knows what it is. you know?
Yeah, it doesn't try to be anything more than what it is. And that was actually going to be my choice for next week, but had to spare Cinamen Nick's feelings.
Well,
So
I appreciate it.
yeah,
It's tough to watch the worst movies you've ever seen over and over.
Yeah. Even though you're just like, okay, an hour and let's say 37 minutes. You're like, it's an hour and 37 minutes of my life. 5 minutes into the film, and you're like, hopefully I have like 2 minutes left. Oh fuck, I still have an hour and 32.
I
minutes.
kind of felt like that with and Don't Kill Me, Magnificent Seven. I was like, okay.
The original.
Yeah.
Oh,
the original, yeah.
I definitely was like, wait.
I kind of
thought
can't
we
wait for
enjoyed
this.
the remake.
I kind of can't wait for this to be over.
Yeah, especially during that like the little like mid-movie fight where you're like, oh, okay, good, this is coming to an end, and you're like, oh shit, this is halfway through.
It definitely got a lot more hype.
But if we're going to
hold on. One thing, Friday 13th, his makeup may have been cool.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
What'd I say?
Friday the 13th.
Friday 13th.
It's okay. I've done
sorry,
that.
sorry.
I always
Elm
get those two
Street.
confused, even though they're very different
I
movies.
felt his makeup, although realistic, I suppose, as it was, I did not. I felt like a lot of his lines had to be overdubbed.
it looked
Yeah.
Did it
his
look like
mouth
his
had trouble
makeup?
moving.
It restricts his mouth from
Yeah.
moving. He can't open it because it's tight. It's
And-
burnt,
and
and I
maybe
didn't
that's
like
true.
that. Well, I mean, why would you create a makeup effect like that? Was there? We've done so much now. Was there really no way to make that better? And because you focus on his face giving these lines, I can't help but to look at how
Yeah,
off it
especially
is.
like the shot where you sit there and it just focuses on his face for seconds on end, and so you get the chance to
the
study
mirror
it.
thing that you were talking about, where he turns his head and like he's looking right at the camera.
Yeah.
And he says something, but it's like it's not. I mean, it's like a poorly dubbed
See,
Asian film.
I feel like I didn't notice that, and it may be because I was just like mesmerized by everything else in the frame. So like I know he's talking, and I'm like, well, I don't really need to look at his mouth.
Yeah,
but I certainly don't think he produced that sort of articulation in that makeup.
Yeah, I feel like on set it probably would have been either A, muffled, or B, maybe he couldn't fully pronounce a word or two because
and they're obviously going to know the line, so they
looked
can
like-
still react.
especially his
right?
bottom lip. It almost looked like it like covered some of it, so it looked like he had a hard time getting the expressive
I
motions.
just,
And
didn't like
you
it.
probably would if your face got burned, but you also wouldn't sound as coherent. So maybe
Yeah.
if they would have made him talk a little bit differently.
Maybe they were just like, hey, just do your Rorschach voice, and everyone's gonna forget all about the.
Well, it worked on me.
Yeah,
Like maybe you're right. I really didn't notice it, but I also wasn't looking for it.
I was gonna say, there was a couple of parts in the movie where I guess the prosthetic stuff didn't bother me. It was like the CG stuff they did to his face that kind of did. Like there were some scenes I was like, that looks kind of too too green screeny. But other than that, like I thought his makeup was pretty all right.
love the costume.
Costume was good.
Every
new
year,
glove was
every
pretty
year
awesome.
it's one of those like I could really be Freddy for Halloween. Yeah, fuck it, I'm not gonna do it this year.
Nah.
You know, like
It's a lot of work
yeah,
because
well,
they sell the
Kits.
sweater everywhere, but it's the face that.
The easiest thing to do is to take a mask, latex mask, cut out the mouth and the eyes a little bit, and then just glue it to your face.
just get a William Shatner mask, spray paint it white, and then go killing your babysitters like Halloween.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah,
William
out of the
Shatner.
three,
William
Michael
Shatner.
certainly has the best mask.
Tyler
Hey,
Mane
hey.
looked good.
No.
Hey, he's got a hockey mask.
No,
all right? He's ready
Jason.
to go. All right.
I like Jason's
Ooh,
mask.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's a
hockey
Rob
mask.
Zombie's Halloween mask looked awesome.
It did.
I,
like
like
I
the-
will
I like
not.
it a lot.
I
like
will
the
not argue
decayed
with that.
look it
Yeah.
gave it.
So it's awesome when he says it, but not when I say it.
No, I'm not saying that the mask isn't awesome. I'm
He's
just saying that
Jason's
I
mask
like
is better than
Jason's.
Michael's.
I like Jason's updated mask. I think it had a lot. Like it was very weathered and like
Yeah.
it had its own style.
Looked like he'd played a few
Especially-
seasons.
Just like
Especially
Michael Myers.
because the original Halloween series and Friday the 13th series, both of the masks changed between movies. Like
Yeah.
sometimes it looks new, sometimes it has scratches, sometimes it doesn't.
there's pieces missing when
Yeah.
there's not.
and
like,
in the
there's
new one,
what-
I
there's
like
different
how he
colors.
got the mask.
Are
Like,
you,
I like-
talking, are you talking Jason now?
Well, let's go. Let's
All right, we're
do
about
ratings.
to dive in. Real
Let's do
quick, we'll
ratings.
give an out of 10 on this one before we dive into Friday the 13th. Out of 10, I guess I will go first with this one. Being my second favorite of the three here.
That's my favorite.
Like I said, I'm a Kruger fan. I feel like I would be his hype man in the corner of this triple threat fight we'd have.
Wiley loses. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna lose.
I got your back, dude.
Okay,
They already made a film about it. Sorry. I mean,
duly ignored.
Yeah, you lost in that one. High five. That's where it's at.
He did lose in that.
Hey.
He did. I almost watched that for this
He
episode.
almost lost.
He's
He
still
did
alive.
lose.
I mean, he's
He
definitely
did
still
lose.
alive, right? But
Well,
I
the
would-
only way you can beat him is to bring him into
yeah.
The world.
our world.
Dream Tape, Scopia, whatever, fucking whatever.
Yeah. So out of 10, well, I gave Halloween a 9. There's a lot of story issues with this one, like we were talking about. Really, the only issues were like story issues, I feel like, was what we were talking about.
What are your story issues? Because the only story issue
The kids is
I
a big
have
thing.
the only story issue I have is that he was guilty. Other than that, I think the story was fine.
Well, we were talking about Elm Street plays like literally not a part
You
of
got to
this
stop
movie.
calling
yeah.
it that movie. If well, okay.
No, it was on Elm Street though.
You
he
don't.
killed 3 kids on Elm Street.
You don't know why
like,
the title.
How often do they talk about the
Dean
fact that it's
didn't live
Friday
on-
the 13th?
Not all those kids
and Friday
lived on
the
Elm
13th?
Street, so it should be a nightmare in
Every
this
movie.
town.
Yeah.
Not every
Like,
kid
every
lives on
film.
Elm
A
Street.
Nightmare in
But do
Springwood.
they like? Oh shit, guys! This guy's killing us on Friday the 13th.
Well, I was getting ready to say that's a problem with the Friday the 13th title.
Because they
I was just getting ready to say
they
that.
give a date in that. But they
Halloween
don't say it's
happens on
Friday. They
Halloween.
don't say it's the 13th. They just say it. Whatever. Anyway, I'm going to dive into that in a second. Because
Anyway,
that's-
sorry.
Anyways,
I'm being precious.
so a lot
Go
of
ahead.
story issues with this one. That's really my only complaint because I thought the acting was better in this one than Friday the 13th. I think out of 10, I'll probably give this one like a 8. I think I'm going to do a 7.5, 8 on this one.
If that's your probably score, what's your real score?
Shots fired.
8, my real score. 8 and final score. Not going to phone a friend. Derek.
Second on your list, first on yours. Where's it at on yours?
It's the bottom.
It is the bottom of
bottom
mine
of the
too.
3?
Yeah,
I
I agree.
figured.
Bottom of the 3.
So this was the top of your
Top
3?
of my list, yeah.
Top of yours, bottom of yours. This was second on mine. Okay. Okay, so Nick, out of 10. Oh, Derek. Then
7. I'll give it 7.
7. You gave Halloween a 10?
10, yeah.
Okay. What are you going to go with?
I am going to give it. I'm going to give this one a 6. I like the movie. I enjoy it. It does have scares, but the confusion about the Elm Street stuff is just kind of bugs me.
Yeah, it does
I
bug
really
me.
had a problem with the mouth articulation thing that really bugged me. That's something that we should be able to overcome by now, I think. So I'm gonna have to give it a 6. I was really kind of bored watching it too for at some parts. I found myself, you kind of talked about it a week or two ago, kind of on my phone here and there, and I was also in a bad mood. I was in a bad mood watching it, so I'm not gonna try to lean either way here, but I am for now gonna give it a 6.
8.5.
8.5.
Solid.
Liked it a lot.
Awesome. So our third and final film,
Which seems to be
The best film.
middle on everybody's list except for you, which put it at the bottom. Chris.
it is the bottom of, it's not one of those drops fucking 10 points down to the bottom. It's just, minorly at the bottom.
Sure.
Because like Halloween, this kind of gives you a lot of answers as to how Jason gets around the woods so fast. His
Yes.
underground thing. I thought that was a cool concept. I kind of get why he kept the girl as a thing. He's wearing the mom's
She's wearing the
mom's locket thing,
locket
and so
that
maybe
looks
he
like
thinks
her.
that's her or reminds him of her. Either way, I don't know that Jason would have kept Michael didn't keep a prisoner. I don't think Jason would, but I'm willing to overlook that.
Certainly not 6 weeks.
And none of
Yeah,
these,
right.
None of these. Yeah,
Is he feeding her?
Yeah,
Yeah,
what
what does he feed
is
her?
she eating
Rats?
the dead
Just
rats and shit. That
She hasn't showered, bathed, anything. She still looks like she's just spent a weekend camping.
Yeah, really.
I'm surprised Jared Padalecki, who was awesome in this,
I was so happy
because
that he was
awesome.
in it.
I like that he was.
He
Because
has
he's
Supernatural
in Supernatural
friends?
as
Yeah,
this was
Supernatural.
going on.
I love Supernatural.
And wasn't he just like a tall walking stick in Supernatural? And then this
Until
comes out,
season 3.
and that's
Yeah,
when this
season
came out,
3.
right?
Season 3, yeah, was
This
right
came
around
out-
Then
this
he-
time.
Yeah,
And
right
he,
around
like-
They
season
all,
4.
him and Dean, kind of
bulked up.
grew into their characters.
Yeah, literally grew. They
Yeah.
found the
He-
gym.
He's big, jacked. He can give Jason a fight from
And he
a-
said
a
that.
fight.
He said that's why he got big for the film because he's like, I don't want to look like a bitch to Jason. He's like, I got to look like I can be able to fight my way out of it. And I was like, dude, I can dig that. That's
The whole time I was just waiting for Dean.
yeah.
Yeah, Dean shows up and he's like, okay,
Dean.
Whip
Why don't we
up
ever
in that
agree?
Impala and everyone in now.
Come on, Dean. We're doing it my way, Dean.
Well, because we were
Wait, he's
talking
Sam.
about
I know. He's talking to Dean.
Oh, we're talking to you.
we were talking about
Duh.
in
I was
Scream-
Sam.
In Scream 3, we were talking about Big Cotton Wary couldn't take on the killer who I
Yeah,
think,
right.
and so this one, we're seeing, I keep wanting to call him Dean, Jared Padalecki, the main guy.
And he's not even Dean, he's Sam.
Whatever, I don't even watch Supernatural, so.
Whoa.
We're watching Jared Padalecki, one half of the Winchester brothers or whatever they are.
Yeah, that's
Is that their
that's
last
right.
name?
Yeah,
Cool.
nice.
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 Yeah. He's able to match him. I like that a lot. But none of these guys seem genuinely scared of, Jared and the girl make. Okay, so the film starts off. Obviously, we have 4 or 5 people. They're going camping in Camp Crystal Lake, which has obviously the rumor of a killer being there.
Yeah.
They're looking for pot.
Okay.
Jason comes.
I love
Kills him.
the false start.
See, I
What?
The false start. Well, by that I mean I love that we get a whole cast of characters, kill
whole
them,
scenario.
Yeah,
and
the
then
title.
we go.
It ain't like you're seeing like Dean in Friday or Nightmare on Elm Street. You know, we're
Sort
not
of
getting one
similar
death.
thing, yeah.
You're getting a group death. You know, like
Yeah.
And then
and he keeps one. Like we said, the girl looks like his mother. He kills Paul
Everybody
from
else.
Halloween, right? Her
Yeah.
boyfriend takes him through the floor, which was cool to see.
That was a scary kill.
Like, could
I
you
like
imagine
it-
being dragged through the floor? Like
The kills
my
in this
God.
movie, Friday the 13th, I think maybe the best of all three,
Yeah.
and maybe the best of any Jason. I mean, Jason has some like really standout kills throughout his tenure, but this one, I mean, all of them were brutal. They
Yeah.
were hard. It sounded like, I mean, it was there.
like when he stabbed the chick through the
deck.
through the deck and then pulled
Pulls
her up.
and then slides back
him
off.
like super shreddering those like floorboards and like pulling him down. Like I was like, oh my god, I'd have been in that tub freaking out.
Like
Do
yeah,
something.
he like goes and like gets the dude in the foot,
Yeah,
gets
he
the back
throws
of his
machete
calf,
at.
like gets his hand, like
Yeah, he's
that's
ninja
fucking scary.
pulls him
Yeah.
down.
Hangs her upside down over the fire. That was.
Oh, in the
Oh,
sleeping
yeah.
bag.
Oh, my God.
And,
Bear trap. Oh, that would have.
oh, my
She's
God.
right side up.
Like-
She's not upside down.
I thought she was.
No, she was upside down because she was.
She's burned from the feet up, though. I thought.
I
she-
thought
she-
she was
wow.
upside
I thought-
down.
I thought she was hanging.
He
upside
just no, because
down.
your head is in it. and He just tied her up in it. I thought.
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
I didn't see how
Because
she
she's.
fell out.
I
I
mean,
saw
it doesn't
she
look
fell.
like she's like on her.
I don't remember how she fell out. Because,
But I thought like it was tied around her legs to where she wouldn't be scrunched up in the bag. But I could
I
be
thought
wrong.
he just. Yeah, I thought he
Either
just
way.
roped her up in it.
yeah, and I guess the shot of her, the point of view in the bag is kind of hard to tell whether it's up or down.
Yeah, I'm not committed
Yeah,
to her being upside down.
Either
Uh,
way,
I
not
think
a scenario I want to be in.
I think we
Yeah.
can all agree we don't want to be barbecued alive in a sleeping bag.
or out of a sleeping bag.
gonna say,
just
to
don't
me,
wanna,
that-
it's not being in the sleeping bag that freaks me out more as the burning to death.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Claustrophobia.
That was possibly like the best opening. I mean, obviously the three films we saw, and it's also the best opening, and like you said, almost any Friday the 13th film.
Yeah.
The one thing that really drove me nuts, and I guess I'm just nitpicky about it, but when this movie first came out, the first group of kids, they go to the woods to go
They're looking for pot.
literally to find a bush of pot, and I'm like, really? That's the whole reason why you're there? That's a horrible reason to be there.
That's
No,
money.
Well, apparently
That's
it's
money
a
in
ton,
the
it's
bank.
apparently a ton of pot.
Yeah, well,
It's a
which
field's
I
worth of
I
weed.
understand that, but it's just like what kills me is like right after that, and then that dude later on in the film, I found a freaking bush of pot out there. He
you're
wants some
talking
pot.
about
It's not a bush. It's a
The
Well,
heat.
what I mean though is like literally they're focusing so much on the pot. People took to the internet right after this movie came out and was like, Jason's a pot farmer. He's killing all the people trying to steal his pot. And I was like, oh, whoa,
I wondered.
okay,
I
come
wondered.
on.
I did wonder. I will give you that. I
That to
wondered
me, that's like the only thing about Friday
Who
the
was
13th
growing
movie. I
this?
hated it.
who was
Does
growing
it-
this, and why
it
has
doesn't
Jason
grow-
not killed them?
It doesn't grow wild, right?
No,
I
you know
mean,
who it was that
doesn't-
was growing it? It was the dude he got the mask from, right?
No, he found it. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, I just found this little bush
Yeah, I
out
thought he
there.
said
I'll
he-
cut you down.
No,
son."
When
The hit guy complains
The
of
hit
somebody
guy.
stealing.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
No,
about.
he's
No, the hit guy
the
that's
guy
like
talks about his boss.
the hit guy that's like, you want to buy some weed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a lot of it.
Yeah.
I thought he-
Oh, he
says-
found it?
He says
Yeah.
that he finds it.
Oh,
He's
he
like, I
found
a little
it?
bushel out there.
It would have been better if he just grew it.
Yeah,
If it was
and I
his weed.
see that I can understand. Okay, well, yeah, that makes more sense. But I was like, first off, who the hell's planting this shit out in the middle of
Yeah.
Crystal Lake?
And why
secondly,
isn't Jason killing him?
Yeah, well, yeah, that
Yeah,
too.
it's almost
but-
one of those like just that minor tweak, like you said, of him actually being the one to grow it would make a lot more sense because we're asking a lot of questions now that obviously other people have asked. Because you sit there thinking, is Jason growing this? Like, is he just like,
Is that why
when
nobody
I'm not
comes to this-
slaying, man,
this
I'm just
slate?
smoking blunt after blunt.
That's where he
like-
gets the money to feed his prisoner.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
He's probably running that shit to Haddonfield in Springwood.
I feel like has a lot of the cliche stuff of people having sex, which Halloween did too.
Pot
Yeah.
and sex in that beginning both fell into like
Yeah.
cliches. Check. You know?
The cast of characters was cool to see. My only issue with them, like I said, they didn't show. They all make it back to the house, and he's just like, "Oh, don't go out there! There's a killer out there, dude." None of you are looking for.
That's a very
anything
shitty
use
way
as
to
a
sum
weapon.
that up.
None of you like the girls are just like, "Oh, don't go out there! There's a guy out there, dude." I would be like,
And the black guy's like, what'd he say?
That's my
Can't get a
friend.
handle on me.
Can't get a handle on me. Yeah, something like that.
so he
Like,
goes out there with like
surprised
a
every
Captain
time.
America pan, like I'm not a Captain
He
America
takes a
pan.
walk.
It's the
A pan
equivalent
is
of
like
like
a shield, like Captain
I'll be
America.
right
Yeah,
back.
he takes
Yeah,
a walk, and I was
pretty
like,
much.
dude, that's pretty. You might actually last a chance.
Like
you know?
cool, yeah. You don't have much of an offensive weapon though.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know.
He most definitely
His character was annoying.
Who?
really.
The black dude and the Asian guy both.
I thought they were the best.
They both. I was like, man, like, are you guys done yet? Do we really have to keep focusing on them?
See,
I
my biggest problem with the whole movie, and maybe it's just because he did his part so well, was the douchebag.
Yeah. Oh,
Travis-
sure. Yeah. He sucks.
Yeah.
Oh
Winkle.
my god,
Yeah.
dude, your tits are so juicy, dude.
he's like, yeah, perfect nipple placement.
No.
Like,
It is exactly what I was. Your tits are so juicy, dude.
your
Yeah,
tits-
he does.
he's
What?
like,
They're so juicy, dude.
they're stupendous.
They're stupendous.
Yeah.
And like his girlfriend's totally hot, and he's just like,
Yeah, he's just like, shut up.
And the
I'm
fact
in
that he
there.
like, and I get when Danielle Panabaker finds them, there's a killer after them, but like he clearly just fucked one of your friends,
Yeah.
cheated on you, and you're just
The whole scenario
Don't care at all.
is
It's
It's almost
just
like, why
almost
was she there
overlooked.
anyways? Yeah.
Yeah.
And the two pot smoker, the single guys, none of them are like, hey man, you're taken. Why don't you try and let us get with the girl who's filming this? You
Maybe
know,
they're-
like,
he's a douche.
I was gonna say, yeah, they don't need to talk to Trent. Neither one of them sound like they're fond of him.
yeah,
Doesn't sound like anyone in that group really is, except the girl who.
Well, yeah,
I don't
they're
know
all
why
getting a
she's
free
there.
trip to a cabin in the woods.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't. I don't know. I wouldn't. I wouldn't sacrifice my weekend with some asshole. You know, like I'd be
Yeah.
like, nah.
And they're
in
going to
fact,
smoke some weed in the woods.
What
and-
I didn't like, and this kind of has nothing to do with, I guess, the story point. When
Sweet cabin,
you see
though.
Padalecki on the motorcycle, he gets stopped by the cop, and the cop is just like, move on, man. She's not here, blah, blah, blah. It's like,
There's trouble in them
all right,
there
cop,
woods.
That's totally cool. If your wife went missing, boy, you're just going to look for 6 weeks and give up. Tell you to look somewhere else.
Well, after 6 weeks, I mean, she's probably dead.
I know, but I wouldn't tell any of you guys, just move on, man. Just
oh,
look somewhere
someone
else.
told him that,
Dude,
too.
Your sister's
Yeah, the
missing.
cop.
I would be like,
No, the lady in the house. She's dead.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
She's
yeah.
not lost. She's dead.
yeah.
These are his
I'm just saying,
words.
as Padalecki,
Yeah, and she was wrong too. So I'm like, thanks a lot.
As
lady.
Padalecki, I'd have been like, fuck you, man. Like,
Yeah.
don't tell me. Don't talk to me about my missing
Yeah, like-
sister because you had
That's a cool name for a band,
two of
Missing
your
Sister.
best detectives on it, and boy, you just had a hunting party. I get that, but don't tell me
Write that down.
to stop looking for my missing sister. Fuck
I absolutely
you,
agree.
go to hell.
I thought that
Thank
was
you,
out of
dude.
character. He also doesn't address the lack of helmet, which may or may.
Well,
I
it's
think-
legal.
not every state
in
has it.
I think in the
Kansas-
trivia it's listed as like this state has that law.
Yeah, I think
well, okay.
Kansas it's legal to ride a.
But
bike
look
with
at-
a- you know what's
I
annoying?
mean,
Let's
the
get
setting in the
slightly
movie,
off
though.
topic.
Yeah.
How is it legal to ride a motorcycle without a helmet, but I can't drive my car without a seatbelt?
Hold on. In defense of Padalecki, I like his hair. I wouldn't want to see no helmet.
Well,
on
his hair
that.
is always great.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
what-
I wasn't. As
How would it be
serious
great if
for
he
it.
did if he didn't have a helmet on? That shit would be able.
Oh,
just-
because of the
looking-
helmet? Is that
looking
what you're
at
talking
his
about?
beautiful hair. That helmet just wouldn't.
yeah,
have
actually,
looked
you know what?
good.
Now that you mention it, yeah, no, you're doing the right. He's doing the right thing.
Yeah, the director was. I'm sure they probably filmed one, and he was like, "Cut, take that shit
Take
off your
that
hair."
off.
Padalecki, that
What's
has
that
such a
thing blocking your mane?
Yeah. That is a beautiful head of hair, and it only gets better in the Supernatural seasons. First off, like it gets like flowing and made, like not like Cinamen Nick here, who looks like Winter Soldier. What up? But his hair is like so, like I don't know. I feel really weird. just keep talking about it.
He's
But it's
got
like it almost worked better with like it's flowing with the motorcycle wind, and it's,
as a long hair
Like a Hollywood
guy
haircut.
and a former long hair
Yeah,
guy.
that's-
I mean, his hair is awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
So I could see the director's like, I don't care if the state has it or not. Fuck it. We're not using it in the shot.
Joster's like, hey man, keep rocking.
If they filmed it, didn't like it, I'm sure he'd like call him back and be like, "Do you mind reshooting this because your hair is so? What do you do to it? Like, can I take a picture of it? Can I cut a lock off and just wear some?"
Going back to Halloween for like half a second, why did every other male character in that movie have long hair?
It's a Rob Zombie thing.
It was like, it's almost like he was like using that as a staple for white trash.
Well, what's
like,
weird,
if you're white trash, you got long hair.
And they all have like trash dashy, like terrible, like
How are all these trashy dudes
Patchy
getting these hot
facial
ladies?
hairs.
Well, I was gonna
Yeah,
say
really.
in the original part,
Because like
of
you
it,
have long hair,
I
but
think
it's not trashy. It's
set in like the 70s.
elegant.
yeah,
Kind of fits
Groom.
that, but-
okay, yeah, like obviously Derek just said, like some of it's set in like the 70s, right? Like the past, like so like Loomis has like his
Long
like
goofy
hippie look
hair.
and stuff. So I get that, but yeah, like once it comes to like the modern, and then like the two white trash janitor dudes, like
And
Even
The
Danny
boyfriend,
Trejo.
even Joe
the
Grizzly,
boyfriend. Joe Grizzly.
must have kept his 70 look. Like
Joe Grizzly.
Well, apparently like the hottest, sluttiest cheerleader's dating like this loser dude with like long hair and is a total asshole to her, and like the guy from Friday the 13th who rocks his fro in that one.
he's like 7'5", and she's like 0. It's
Yeah.
like oh,
He's like, whatever, I'm an 11 or something like
yeah,
that.
that's funny.
yeah, 0 plus 11.
Yeah, and
But
she's like,
yeah,
0, more like -5.
And then he ends up playing this like nice, sweet boyfriend who's taking his girlfriend out to get away from the family for a while,
and has a worse death than he did with Myers.
Death, yeah. I don't have too many problems with this. I like how he got the mask. I like that it had the bag on his head first.
Yeah,
because that's in the
second film.
The original second film.
This film takes elements from
the first.
Oh, sorry, the first 4. Well, yeah, This film takes, I think, the main first 3 and a little bit of 4.
Yeah,
not very much of 4, but basically they take elements from all 4 films.
And I almost wish the first crew that killed, like especially the 2 funny guys, the guy who like bangs his girlfriend and gets killed, and then the dude who's like with the glasses, Richie.
I almost like the original cast of characters better than.
I would have liked those 2 better than the Asian guy and
I agree.
the black guy.
I absolutely agree.
I thought the Asian guy and the black guy were fine.
So do I. I don't have as big a problem as Cinamen Nick.
It's just the douchebag I don't like.
I
would have had the other
douchebag
douchebag in the first group, the one that was like banging the chick. He was better.
Yeah,
he was a better douchebag.
But he got his though.
No, but he wasn't more of a douchebag. He was just more likable, which I guess is
he
contradictory.
But he was the douchebag
to the dude.
Yeah.
But let's.
It's almost like, is he someone I love to hate?
He has douche qualities.
He's definitely not someone I hate to love, as I don't love
we don't like the douchebag. Also screams like a girl. Had a girl scream. Like the body flies on the car, and then he was literally like, like a girl, and I was like, Jesus, man.
Well,
and then you take off the other way from the other. You take off with the group because
he made so many stupid
you only
decisions.
have to run faster than the person beside you.
Well, in his defense, those were some pretty juicy tits, dude.
Those tits were stupendous.
They were stupendous.
With perfect nipple placement.
Yeah.
Like,
can't knock it.
And then at the, they're like, they have that like after sex cuddle, like, oh man, that's so good. And she's like, stupendous,
hilarious. I thought that was funny.
I don't know if that was scripted or not, but he starts chuckling, and then he's like, that's funny.
Okay, so you guys have seen the killer cut, the unrated cut.
Yeah,
or whatever,
I had the killer cut.
I believe so.
Okay, so in the theatrical cut in the original movie, when they're having sex, the girl supposedly like runs up to the window and tries to get their attention, and I was kind of wondering, like,
the sister that was held.
That was held captive. Yeah, she escapes. She runs up to the window, and right before she gets to bang on it, Jason grabs her, shuts her up. But I was kind of like, how the hell did you still not see this girl in this giant, right in front of this giant pane window where you're having sex?
That's in the killer cut too, isn't it?
Well, that's what I meant. Like, it's in the killer cut, but it's not in the original. She
I got you.
Also,
but I was trying to figure out, like, how do you get that close, and be like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, she didn't bother to yell or
did he cover her, like grab her and like
she
cover her?
She should have been yelling on her way up, though.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah,
like grabbing sticks and chucking it up.
I would be summoning every ounce of breath.
I would grab a piece of wood and like hurl it at the house as you get closer. Like,
start throwing shit.
I'll pay for the window later.
Yeah.
Also, with that comes a question. He grabs her, takes her back to his little dungeon cave thing, and makes it back to the house all within like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
To keep killing them. So I was like,
I didn't think about that.
What? You made it all the way back there, and then make it all the way back to the house. Where everyone is scared, but none of them are showing like true fear.
Yeah,
I think what he did was pull up his HUD menu, which is heads up display, and then fast traveled.
He must have been it,
like in the game.
Yep,
in the game. He must have had like his radar, and he's like, okay, 25 meters to my north. All right, there's my first victim. I'm gonna kill him.
But I will say though, like the underground tunnel thing was definitely. I liked how they threw that in there. I really did. I thought that was really unique.
I thought it was
explained
cool.
a lot.
It shows like he's got stuff from like the cabins. Maybe like some personal belongings.
Well, he also has like almost like traps. So like when people hit it like a tripwire, he knows where they are.
That was cool. I like that a lot.
He's very much more like he thinks, and he's like tactical,
more intelligent, I guess.
Yeah, like he knows like, well, I know where this lets out and where they're heading.
Yeah.
I can backtrack, cut him off, and still beat him there. Like, I think he gets ready to go through the bus or something, and he's like, well, forget this, and
he goes back.
Takes on. He hits the camp lights when he thinks that like maybe
hits the camp lights. Smart idea.
Yeah. He knows, or he at least thinks that, like, oh man, somebody's being around. He doesn't take chances, so to speak. Like,
he's pretty.
Like, I want to know where they're at. Lights.
He's
not like, let me fish around in the dark, and I'm still gonna find you.
I did like the final bout, I guess, between him and Padalecki. Even though it's only in kind of like that one room of like the little barn or whatever, still we're seeing Padalecki give him a run for the money. Even though I kind of feel like maybe the sister should have jumped in there a little sooner. help her brother out.
Yeah, he was only about to get wood chips.
She's like, I'll wait till he's almost dead. I'll wait till he really needs me before I go try and fend my life here. But yeah, she doesn't look malnourished or anything. So obviously, you must have been getting full course meals there. Like
that was a cool scene. I did like the scene where she throws the chain into the. Oh, that was it. So that is the location where Jared.
That's the same.
That's the same place where he got his mask.
How has this guy been working at this place, being so close to Jason and has lived? Like,
That's
why has Jason not killed him sooner?
Especially if he keeps going back in the field for pot.
This is walking distance. Yeah, you've been to this. This guy looked at the pot and got killed in the beginning.
Well,
Didn't
the lady say something like he just wants to be left alone?
He just wants to be left
kids
alone. Yeah.
Aren't.
They left him alone.
Hassling him. I guess they did go into his little nest.
I wouldn't have thought about it except that they were able to run there. I mean, it's not like Jared was like, get on my bike and I'll drive us out of here. And he gets to oh, I know that this dude was here. Maybe he's still here. It's like, we were able to run here from Crystal Lake because we're running everywhere.
Especially since Padalecki went from the barn on his bike to Van
their
Winkle's
place
house on his bike.
and
And then they're able to run there later on.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I thought that was kind of weird. The
And
scene was cool.
Jason is still able to not beat them there, but get there shortly after. And I don't see him break anything more than a power walk. So
he does tromp. Right? I really like that. When he walks over stuff, his boots are coming down. It's scary
He's
sounding.
moving. Yeah, he
when
has
he enters
good
that
sound
cave.
design.
Yeah, when he enters that, or he drops into the tunnel and they're trying to free her, and
big,
the
loud
cat
thud.
You've got 10 seconds before he gets there. So trying to free her, and then they're running, and then probably the most surprising death, at least in my opinion, is Kay Panabaker.
Danielle Panabaker.
Danielle Panabaker. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The redhead, the douchebag's
girlfriend that gets it as they almost escape
at the last second.
That was weird that Jared, as the dude, you'd think he'd be like, all right, ladies, go. And then he could even if he still died.
I thought about that.
He definitely was like,
damn,
you better wait here while I get my sister out.
Yeah, you were gentlemanly there. And I guess life or death, but you thought, let the two weak girls go through and then maybe help yourself.
Well, I think, his sister is key and everyone else can just fuck off.
He's like, look, I don't even know your name, girl, but I'm going to help my sister.
I agree.
Out,
it just seems that he's gotten attached to her, and
she was the one that was nice to him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the one he's
you're
I
right.
would love some company, things like that.
And
I thought she was gonna live.
Yeah, it was so weird. Who's a dick to someone looking for their lost sister?
Oh yeah,
he was such an asshole.
Yeah,
he
was almost
the
too
fact,
douchey.
And the fact that
that's what I'm saying.
He's mouthing to Padalecki. It's dude, he's got you by not size, not everything in a fight. Obviously, we're all kind of short.
He definitely was outsizing that dude.
Yeah, you are barking up the wrong. Padalecki will fuck you up.
He's
driving a motorcycle with beautiful hair.
It's back to the same problem with Michael Myers. It's I don't relate to you at all. Yeah. You die and I don't feel a thing.
Yeah.
It's oh, finally now I don't have to listen to this guy's voice anymore.
And he's the one with a gun, fires off 5 rounds at nothing.
Yeah.
Well, 3 go through the dead girl's body.
Yeah, good one, guy. Shoot a corpse.
But you're sitting there I'm the guy that likes to count the bullets, try and count, to be okay, maybe.
I usually don't, and I did actually when I was watching it this time.
And
I was like,
I don't know what gun he was using. I don't know how many it holds, but I'm okay, 5 down. I wonder if it's gonna have a shoot one off. There's 6. Oh shit, I'm empty. Then
is he gonna run out or is the gun gonna jam? Which one's it gonna be?
He had 15 rounds in that gun, and he wasted half of it at nothing.
Oh, and then he lost in the
and then
creek.
he dropped it in the creek, and I was like,
"Oh, that's
Are you a fucking retard?
Yeah.
What are you doing, man? Jason's coming after you.
You hold the flashlight and you lose the gun, and then he searches for a few, and he's like, "Oh fuck it," and just
would it have worked if he found it?
I've seen some movies where
they can.
I don't know how that works.
Well, I figured it wouldn't just be water. I mean, it's probably
I obviously don't know.
In there.
He goes to shoot, and it's just a water gun now,
or most of it out. But yeah, you would have to dry it out some way before it.
The mud would get in there. You don't know that he probably just didn't drop it straight down. It could have picked things up and scraped.
You were talking about sound design. I did every time it showed the mask not on him, it had that slight
Yeah. The classic,
Yeah, and it's not something, it's not the loudest thing. It's just something real silent and that,
real subtle.
Yeah, I like that. That was a cool
The music was pretty good in, I did Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Where it's and kind of the eerie, sort of
eerie organ type of
whatever
feel.
that fucking sounded. You hear it a few times, but it's pretty keyed pretty well.
I think Halloween's the only one that actually kept true to the original soundtrack.
Halloween does have the best scary music, maybe hands down.
And all it is 2 or 3 piano keys
and some bass notes.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, the beat is good. It's good to remix. There's remixed versions of it.
I think there's a Tech 9 song, and I was I heard that and I forgot that it was
He's
like
a
a
big Michael
Halloween
Myers fan.
sound, and I was like, "Oh, this is a Tech 9. We're about to get some Tech 9."
Isn't
I was
that
like, "No,
awesome?
wait, no, we're not."
It's just got a good tune. Like one of the radios for like their Boo Bash like plays it, but it's like kind of like amped up a little bit, and it's only they're talking over it. You know, it's just an ad,
Right.
but it makes me think of it, and it's
iconic.
It's just good. Children of the Corn is also really good, by the way. Good music.
Creepy
Sorry,
music.
the music is good. The movie is
yeah,
so-so.
Korn, good band.
Corn.
I'm sure the kids can make some good music as well.
Is there anything else you guys didn't like?
Actually, speaking of Children of the Corn, is the redhead that dies with the guy
Malachi? Yeah.
Is that It is him.
It is Malachi.
Wait,
And
hold
he has like a weird name. It's like Courtney or something.
The two dudes that
Oh
sort
my
of
God.
get
The two maintenance guys in Halloween?
yeah
Yeah, the one that
the redhead one is
chil-
Malachi.
Oh my god.
The blonde-headed one is Lou Temple, who he's worked with Rob
Walking
Zombie
Dead.
a ton. Yeah, and the other one is Malachi from
the redhead
Yeah.
from Children
Yeah.
of the Corn.
Yep.
the
who
like
was-
leader behind Isaac or whatever.
Oh, Isaac. Okay, I was like, wait, isn't Malachi the
Isaac is a little
Damien
short
looking
guy.
one?
Yeah,
Okay.
The one that sounds like a
Isaac,
chick.
That's right.
where he's like, "I'll land."
But I definitely was
He's
like,
like-
that's
yeah.
Malachi.
He's like, he who walks behind the rose. Like, shut up, shut little shit. Malachi, I'd kill you. Yeah, wow, okay, that is...
Yeah,
Rob Zombie had a lot of, like...
he has like a lot of horror icons in his films.
Yeah, he did. That was cool to see. I think the gun shop owner in Halloween, back to that real quick, was a band member of I think one of, like, an iconic...
Oh, the guy who sells Loomis the. If you really want to
Piss
blow
it
his
off,
fucking
yeah.
head off.
Yeah, he's like a rock, an old rock star from like 70s or 80s band. So you know,
I like
Rob
the
Zombie.
wink he gives him
Yeah.
when he like says it. And he's like, you know what I'm talking about. And Loomis is like, fine, whatever. Blah.
Just
He's
wrap
like,
it up,
okay,
come on.
okay. So what you hunting?
Yeah.
And it like cuts away. It's like, that's cool. I do wish maybe Robert Englund would have had a cameo. I wish maybe Ken Kersinger or Kane Hodder would have had a
Kane
cameo.
Hodder would have been
in-
so
Nothing on-
sick.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. So I'm sorry. I'm kind of jumping in on you here. You're kind of the Jason guy. Does Derek Mears stack up with those guys? I thought he did awesome. He's
He's
big.
not as tall as Ken
Okay,
Kersinger.
so Kane Hodder is definitely the bulkiest.
Yeah, he's like when Jason looks like he lifts. That's him.
When Jason looks like he
Fred-
goes to the gym. Yeah.
Freddy, right? Jason X.
Jason
was
X.
Kane
Jason
Hodder.
X, yeah, from part 7 through Jason X, 4 movies he did back to back of Jason. Hands down, my favorite Jason.
I think he's the fans' favorite Jason
yeah,
too.
and they wanted somebody. He was supposed to be in for the role for Fred vs. Jason, but he got to the part, and I guess Ronnie Yu was, or not Ronnie Yu. Ronnie Yu,
that's Ronnie Yu.
He basically was like, I want somebody who is a little leaner, a little taller.
I heard the eyes was a big selling
and,
point.
and like another thing, he wanted his eyes to be very like expression full, I guess. Like, but I'm like, he's Jason. Why the hell is he? Why gotta focus on his eyes? But
How and Ken Kersinger?
He's the
is
big one. He's the
6',
tall
okay,
one.
yeah, he's not as tall as Tyler Mane. He's like second to Tyler Mane.
He's like
Tyler Mane's
6'6",
like
6'7".
yeah, he's right up there.
Kane Hodder is.
I think he's like 6'5".
Yeah,
6'4",
I mean, he's still a big
6'5".
guy, but the muscles
The
almost
bulk
make you
is-
look short.
Well, he's
Yeah.
he's one of the girl's dad in a Grind, the movie with
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
skateboarding
I was
movie.
gonna bring that up.
He's
Wednesday,
the dad
yeah.
who like baseball bats that hippie band of theirs.
Yeah.
Sweet
and
Little
he
Thing.
is very much like. I mean, if I remember right, he kind of looks like a bodybuilder.
I think he said he doesn't lift. I think he just said he's naturally.
I mean,
just
he's
a
got
big dude.
guns.
He's
traps,
literally like I
like,
guess like part
fit.
Samoan, which helps. I guess
Yeah, I
like
don't know what-
I
he's
just thought he
actually
was a white
from
guy.
he hails from
like
like
freaking Park Creek.
He's just got a cool,
Yeah.
creepy name too, Kane Hodder.
yeah. He Ken Kersinger was a stunt double for Kane on part 8 of Jason when he goes
when he goes
to
Manhattan,
for
he
like
goes
5
to that
seconds.
bar. He's the bartender.
He throws.
like
Yeah.
over the bar into the mirror, comes crashing
And
down.
he was the one who inevitably got the part for Fred vs. Jason, and Kane Hodder was pissed.
Oh, yeah.
Kane Hodder was fucking livid, and he
remember
still is
reading that.
mad about it.
Well, he like had the role basically up until like production started.
Yeah, all the way up until
Like-
it started going, and then they were like, no. Because he really wanted to be in it, too. He really wanted to fight
Why
Freddy.
would why would you
But-
not want to take him down?
But
or try
as
to.
for Derek Mears, I think he was
I think
probably
he-
in
he did
between
good.
Kane and Ken, and he did a good job. I just think, like,
Derek
he
Mears
just
is how
wasn't-
tall?
I'm gonna put him at like.
I think he's like
6'5",
6'6".
6'4".
Yeah, I
Something.
think I think he's just a little bit taller than Kane, but he's definitely more leaner though. Too.
Right. And him and Tyler Mane, they're both stuntmen.
Yeah,
turned
almost
kind of
not-
iconic horror.
I was gonna say most like Derek Mears, he's played Predator, he's played Jason, he's played Pirates twice in Pirates 1 and Pirates 4.
He played the troll in Hansel and Gretel Witch
Yeah,
Hunters.
he plays the troll. Like he
okay.
he
Was
that
like
good?
a lot of the like
I
creature
didn't like
effects
him.
and stuff
Yeah,
they do.
it's
They
tough.
a lot of them are stuntmen.
That's cool.
Yeah, you might like it.
I liked him. Like I said, you almost got to separate Freddy because he gets to speak. You know,
Yeah.
like you almost got to put Leatherface with Freddy and Michael because
He does.
That almost would have been a better
No,
matchup
Michael
if we
and
would have done
Jason,
those
sorry.
three.
Well,
yeah,
Like
Freddy-
hindsight,
Freddy
but
gets
I
to,
definitely
like,
wanted to see Nightmare on Elm Street. So
Yeah, I agree.
I'm glad we
Yeah.
didn't.
Out of 10 on this one. What do you guys go here? Because this was a bottom for me, and it's mainly just like no one looked genuinely scared. Like everyone in A Nightmare on Elm Street looked like Katie Cassidy looked like she was about to cry, like she was that scared, and none of these guys seem to reflect that. But I did like a lot of it. Also, Friday and the 13th date of it had kind of seemingly nothing to do with it. It should have just been titled like Jason Voorhees or something.
Had less to do with it than Elm Street.
Yeah,
But I don't see why you guys are so hung up on that. But I'm gonna go 7.
what did I give Nightmare on Elm? I gave it a
you gave it a 8.
8. I think for this one, I'm probably just going to dock it, just time it more 7.5. I really like this one a lot.
I'm gonna give it a 9. I really
Okay.
dig what they did with Jason here. They didn't screw it up like with Jason X and all the other Jasons.
Like every other Jason movie except
The
first one he's in, number 2.
Yeah, they got really funky with it.
It's definitely a fun ride.
Yeah, it definitely. I enjoyed it. So
I am also going to give it an 8. I love that Jason. It solved the problem of the, wow, he clearly teleports, so it solved that problem. I love that he was big and menacing and strong. I love
like
that
his
it
kills.
included several elements. It showed you how he got the mask. His kills were next level, which was awesome.
kills are
You're
really
kind of
good.
convincing me to bump it up to a 7.5.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. The case is there. I wasn't crazy about our primary cast. I definitely like the first group better. I really had a tough time with Aaron Yu and the other guy, the black guy. Like, they did a lot of goofy shit. I didn't like that the black guy was like getting ready to have a self moment there. Well,
I love when they busted in and they're like, "There's a killer out there," and he's like,
Don't
"I'm
fuck
really
with me
high.
'cause
Are you
I'm
guys
high."
fucking with me?"
yeah, I didn't care about that. Aaron Yu was just. It was almost like they just let him run wild, and he was like, "Fill up this boot and drink it, nasty sneaker,"
yeah,
and
that
like
was just
he
gross.
God, that
keeps
was really gross.
fucking up in the movie, and it's like, dude, like he breaks the bulb, he breaks the chair, he dicks
breaking
around. Like
everything.
I could not believably get into it, and so I'm gonna dock him for that. But I'm gonna give it an 8. I think is what I said.
Yeah.
I did,
Either way, that's what
like,
you're giving it now.
He breaks the light. He's got the hockey stick, and Jason shows up behind him.
I did
Which
like where he's
I
like,
did
"This
like a
would
lot of-
complete your outfit."
When he is behind him, a lot of the light imagery, like
Light
showing
mask,
some
yeah.
of the mask, or maybe showing just like the one eye that he has open because apparently he's
Halloween
otherwise
did
gone
that
or
pretty
whatever.
well too. Like
Yeah,
one time, like
I really
Michael was
liked
behind
those.
the door, and like even after you opened the door, I was like,
Yeah, you could barely see him.
I was like, oh.
Well, with like
Which
the
is kinda
white,
scary,
the white
like-
mask
Yeah.
with like the dark blue suit, like contrasting each other, like really cool.
Yeah, because I almost don't know if the mask is like legit when it's so dark, or if I'm just wanting to put it there.
Yeah,
because
so
I'm like,
that's- yeah,
black
so it's
mask,
like-
I think
It's like messing with your head a little.
yeah.
Before we
ratings. So did everybody give one?
Yeah, we
Yeah, we
already
already
Okay.
gave one.
Yeah,
Before
I
we
knew that.
before we dive out, what was
out.
your favorite kill of all 3 movies?
Ooh.
Man,
Because there's a
there
lot
was
of good
so
ones.
many.
Friday the 13th, a lot of good ones. Halloween had some good ones. I was trying to think of it before I came over here today, and I really like the sleeping bag kill because, god damn, that would just fucking suck. You're trapped in a sleeping bag, you can't
Pretty
move.
That
terrifying.
would be pretty crappy.
And the bear trap to trap her boyfriend too. Like he literally,
As like bait.
yeah,
He was like bait.
Yeah.
he worked it.
Sleeping bag kill was really
Masturbate.
cool. That might be my
I'm gonna have to go with probably maybe
favorite.
that floor kill because it's like,
Ooh, yeah.
I don't know what he did down there when he got him down there. I mean, it's like, did he kill him, break him? I mean, what happened?
Yeah,
Yeah.
when they're running through the lake, you see the girl who got the machete through the head under the deck.
That was
but
fun.
you don't see the boat
I mean, it wasn't
guy
fun for her.
anymore.
Yeah, you don't know if
see
the boat
boyfriend who
crashes.
went through the floor.
You actually do see him in the killer cut. Like it's like right before, like right after she escapes.
Oh, I forgot
she
about
opens
the
up
topless
door.
skiing scene.
She opens up the
Yeah, I did
door
too.
to like this room, and it's just like a mound of bodies.
Don't take my
Her
boat.
boyfriend's in there.
Okay, maybe I just
What does
didn't
it
see
say
his
about
body,
me
but you
that
don't see
as
the
soon
boat
as he
guy.
said that?
Well,
I
no,
was
no, no. You don't see the
definitely
boat
gonna
guy.
take
You
his
see
phone.
everybody. You see the black guy was in the hot tub.
Yeah, that's cool. I think the sleeping bag kill is probably my favorite of all.
I'm assuming
of
the
all
cop
these.
is still stuck to the door.
Favorite kill. What do you guys
Man,
got?
I don't know. Like
I can't really decide.
Oh,
I
a
like
kill that you really liked. A kill
My
that was
floor
either
kill,
creative.
yeah.
Floor kill was good.
You guys are right about there being a lot of good Friday the 13th kills.
Mine?
Everything in Nightmare on Elm Street was pretty cool, I think.
I liked a lot of stuff he did in there. That was really good. I was going to say, either when he kills the cop, when he just... that freaking poker right through his face.
Oh, when he's at the door of the...
Yeah, either that
or
the... what was it?
I liked Michael Myers stabbing into the wall. I thought that was good.
That's iconic. I like that one a lot.
Damn, there was another one I
guess
had.
if I had to
can't
pick
remember what
a
it is.
favorite, not because it's the scariest, but it was the most fun, the Under the Deck, probably.
That was
Like,
pretty.
It was just silly.
As he pulls it up,
It was
like,
just so
Tobias
silly, but
slides
like
off.
at the same time, like horrifying.
Yeah, that's pretty. Because it's like he got her, and it's like the body's disposed of all in one. You know, like
It was efficient killing.
yeah,
I-
tactical.
Maybe, probably the most brutal of the film is probably when he kills Aaron Yu. He like sticks that screwdriver through his like throat, like real slow. I'm like, ooh, oh god,
Yeah.
that was pretty
like,
brutal. Or when he
Ooh.
threw that chick up against the wall.
Kellen Lutz kill in the
Dude,
beginning of Nightmare on
that
Elm
was
Street
such a good opening.
Cool too. Like
You hear it like ripping through bone.
I mean, it's into the handle. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you just hear it dragging, and it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
That was the
like
one thing I
that's-
loved was
that
the
was
opening
that was
to
a
that.
cool kill.
Yeah,
that was
for
really
sure.
good.
I forgot about that.
A lot of cool stuff. All three of these, I think, were good. I think a lot of people generally like all three of these. I'm really mad. The only one that got a sequel and the sequel fucking sucked. Halloween 2.
Halloween, yeah.
Because I feel like on Nightmare, Jackie Earl Haley easily should have got a sequel.
They should have done something with him. Jason definitely left
Jason
enough
should
open
have
for
got a
him.
sequel. I was mad that there weren't. But I liked all three of these. I think all of us liked all three of these. These are definitely deemed, well, the originals are definitely deemed as classics.
And one of the reasons I think that we chose the remakes was because you don't get Jason until Friday
Part
the
3,
13th,
or
part
yeah.
three,
Part two.
two.
Part 2 is when he shows up, but he doesn't put on the hockey mask till 3.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like,
So that was,
shit.
to me, that's a big like point, which is one of the reasons I pushed for the remakes.
Another couple notable remakes that we didn't cover, but I thought were really good. Evil Dead. I thought the remake was really good.
Very good.
And Poltergeist. I really enjoyed the remake. I've never seen the original
Is that a
Poltergeist.
slasher? Isn't it kind of
No,
more of a...
I'm just saying it's a horror remake.
Oh,
Horror
I got you.
remake. Yeah. We just did classic slashers for this one. There's a lot of horror movies that get remade that have been
Black
Texas
Friday,
Chainsaw.
Sorority Row.
Prom Night got remade.
Prom
Prom Night,
Night.
with that pretty
Night.
snow chick.
Hellraiser, sort of.
I wish if we were talking about cameos earlier, I wish Jamie Lee Curtis would have showed up in Halloween, like somewhere.
That would have
I
been
didn't
kind
even
of
think
cool.
about that.
I know
yeah.
Donald Pleasance had died
Yeah,
already.
he died actually
Rest
after
in
6.
peace, the original Dr. Loomis. I wish Jamie Lee Curtis would have shown up. Like I said, I wish Robert Englund would have maybe made a cameo.
Yeah, really, no cameos around.
Maybe that's just the director's visions. You
I
know?
feel like horror isn't as much of a hot item as it used to be either.
Well,
I feel like
especially
people
slashers.
are really like particular about horror now. I
Slashers
just love
especially.
horror.
I was gonna say, in today's society, slashers are like
Weird. Yeah,
We get
were
too many
talking about-
zombies and
dated.
vampires.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we get too many
I
zombies.
think we get
and
too many
vampires.
exorcisms.
ghosts. Yeah,
I hate possession movies, and it's so weird to say that, when my favorite horror movie is a possession movie.
I feel like the vampire craze
But-
is maybe gone a little bit now, especially since all
Well,
the
that
Twilight
all has
shit
to
is
do with
gone.
who's in the White House. There's a correlation between zombie movies and vampire movies, depending on if there's a Democrat or Republican in office.
I've not. Is this
Because
like an online theory?
Republicans are seen as like, what is it? I think Republicans are seen as like blood-sucking
leeches.
leeches, and then Democrats
slaves.
are like walking mindless. Like
Drones.
there's a good Cracked podcast about it. If I remembered which one it was, I would link in the show notes, but I don't
Right.
remember. So just go listen to all of them because Cracked is a fantastic podcast.
So, Sinners, we are going to round out our last week of horror, our Halloween, 4 weeks of horror. Next week, we are all, the four of us here, are
Cinnamon
picking,
picks.
maybe not our favorite horror movies, but we are picking.
Definitely not. I'm definitely not picking my favorite.
Yeah, I'm just picking one.
I'm
that
saving
I really
that
enjoy.
for Annabelle 2.
And
hopefully we can go through Conjuring 1
We've
and 2
all
and Annabelle.
finalized our choices.
I
for
just
next
did
week.
today.
Sinners, be ready because we have Creepshow, we have the original Poltergeist, we've got Land of the Dead, we've got Mama. We got a lot of good stuff coming up next week as our final week of horror.
It's really just like a grab bag of
It's
just
like a
random
hodgepodge
horror.
of horror, basically.
Horror hodgepodge.
A little zombie, a little supernatural. A lot of supernatural.
I like Supernatural.
Creep
though.
Show being it kind of VHS style is kind of right.
Well, it has
kind of
multiple
cool.
stories.
Yeah.
I've never seen either of the three that I didn't pick. Mama was my choice. I have not
will be
seen
good.
Creep Show, Poltergeist, or Land of the Dead.
So stay tuned. Tune in next week. It's going to be an awesome podcast. Like I said, if you comment on which of these 3 remakes is your favorite, obviously get out there.
It's obviously Nightmare on Elm Street.
Share, like, spread the love. We're obviously big horror fans. We know you are too. Tell us if you got a classic horror remake. Drop in the comments. And as always, don't be a dick.
Support the podcast.
I was re-listening to one of them. I guess it was the Mag 7 episode. We totally kept saying it was ants.
It's
a
Bugs Life.
I was
Yeah,
like, we
talked
got
about
it wrong the whole episode.
We did.
Yeah.
But your reaction when you're like, oh my god, it's ants. Like, I died listening to it, man.
I've told people since then, and they're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.